Right, let's do it. The Eighth Circle of Hell. So, you know that I've talked a lot about, there's this games company called Activision Blizzard, and they keep making these catastrophic errors of judgment. And I'm actually going to give a more nuanced take than I think you think I'm going to give. But let's start at the beginning. So, Overwatch League has attracted a audience, a type of attention that I think it thought it was a good idea, and it probably was at the start, but like all things, it becomes very grating because you have to maintain the philosophical approach consistently throughout. And what they wanted to do was not talk about a game in terms of what's it like to play. They wanted to talk about the game in terms of who does it appeal to. And as you all know, I understand representation in games is important. So representation in movies is important. I have talked a lot about, these landmark moments which make a huge difference. We did the Halloween stream where we watched Night of the Living Dead, and again, understand that not only was the lead black at a time when black leads didn't happen, and not only that, if they did, they certainly weren't allowed to talk down to white counterparts and maybe tell them their idea to lock themselves in the basement is stupid. But also, he was cast not to make a point, not because of tokenism. He was cast just because George Romero saw he was the best actor to play that part. A classically trained actor that came along and took in one of the most important roles in cinematic history for what should have been a horror B movie. And off the back of that, we get an incredible resurgence of black horror movies, black actors that realize now, hey, I can be like that. The time is right. People making their own movies, taking back control from a racially prejudiced Hollywood system. They wouldn't have felt comfortable doing that. They wouldn't have believed it was possible if it wasn't for that representation. So representation does matter. Of course it matters. It matters if you can empathize. It matters because you need to see you in somebody else for empathy to occur, which is why racists and scumbags and terrorists and all the demons of the world dehumanize the people they talk about. Right? That's what they do. It's why, Russian troll, right? No, I'm a person. These are my ideas. I don't want to empathize with you and meet you halfway. Fuck you, right? That's what it's about. So representation, by extension, matters. And if you argue otherwise, you're an idiot. And, that's all there is to it. So, I commend what Overwatch tried to do by having a very diverse portfolio of characters you could play, different geographic backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, different sexualities whenever there's a crisis, right? Oh, wait, what stock price plummeting? Soldier 76 is gay now, okay? He's gay. Is the share price going up yet? Is it going up? He's gay and he has two penises. I really don't. And my objection to this is, my objection to it isn't putting gay characters in the game. In fact, I don't have any objection to it. Saying I have an objection to it is a lie. But it's tokenism and it's gross, and I think you're right to call it out. Like, to suddenly turn a character gay because you want to get out of a crisis you're in, because you want positive PR, come on, man. That is disgusting. That is a disgusting way to treat the people you claim to respect and want to help and want to represent, right? Doing it to get out of a PR nightmare is not the way forward, and it was so transparently done that way. So if you're in the LGBT community, which, by the way, I've never gone on about claiming that. I just fuck who I want when I want. That's me. That's how I've always been. And I'm always perplexed that there's people out there who care about this. Like, it's strange to me, but whatever, right? So, but I'm gonna start claiming it. I'm in. Count me in your little tribe now. I'm in your community now, because it's absurd to me that it's like your opinions don't represent. You're a straight white man. Like, I don't know about that, dude. So it's weird. It's crazy. Anyway, I respect that you want to represent as many cultures and backgrounds and races and creeds and religions and everything else as possible. Obviously, that's an important and noble goal. The problem you've got is that or rather Activision Blizzard have, is that they spend so long talking about it, they attracted a bunch of people who only think about the world in those terms and nothing else. And unfortunately, what happens is, the word identitarian gets bandied around a lot, and I don't know if it's the right word. But in the same way that somebody who sees like an interracial couple and go, they're breeding us out of existence, like we had with the nonsensical debacle of elements of the train wrecks debate, there's a fragility there that's gross. But equally, when your identity is all that you think about, I don't know if it's controversial to say it, but I just think we need to be a bit more fleshed out and three-dimensional. And I think people who only think about the one facet of their personality, which should be by definition multifaceted, I think those people generally aren't all that stable. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be around any of them. So that, to me, and look, it applies to heterosexuals as well, by the way. We all know, right, guys, we all know that person at work who you sit down and you go, like, you have a good weekend? And they go, did I have a good weekend? Shagging non-stop, sticking it in, waggling it about. Oh, I fucked this girl, I did this. And you're like, oh my God, like, does it ever end? Like, does it ever end with you? You boring fucks. Like, I get it, you're straight. You're promiscuous, or you know what I mean? So it applies to everybody. Anybody who takes one aspect of their identity and their personality, writs it large to the point where it's all they talk about, it's what they want to be known by. Those people generally have some issues in my personal experience. And I don't really like being around people that just constantly bang on about that stuff, because I like sort of to be three-dimensional. I like to be interesting. It's why I associate with wildly diverse people and only draw a line when it comes to extremists of any stripe. It's very hard to associate with people like that. So anyway, I get it. I understand what they did. I commend what they've achieved in a lot of ways. But the problem that they have now is they weren't really watching what was going on, and they weren't really paying attention. You remember when, for example, Lucio, right? They released some Lucio skins. And Lucio's a Brazilian DJ. They thought, hey, let's have some fun with the cosmetic items in the game. And listen, the problem you've got is that in trying to appeal to as many, rightly, to as many people, and trying to represent rightly as many people, there's these lunatic fringe people. I'm sure there's loads of Brazilians that love the fact Lucio's in the game. I'm sure there's loads of black people who love the fact Lucio's in the game, and they have somebody that they can identify with in the game, I'm sure. But there's these people that it's never going to be enough for them, because they have to be offended. They have to complain. Victim status is the most treasured possession they have. So let's just take a look at this. Boom. Lucio's new Overwatch skin. It's bad. Why is it bad? It's questionable. But what do you mean? Right? What do you mean? And they did it with, I think, Symmetra, another character. Like, they're mocking it. Like, why have you pimped him up? This is racism. It's like, I don't know, guys. Is it? Like, come on. But this is unfortunately the type of attention that the Overwatch League has right now. This is what they've courted. This is what they've got. This is just how it is. So it is no wonder then that because of the eyeballs they have, and listen, what they've done is they've peddled a lie, right? And it's a smart lie. And some people already believed it. Some people were already telling the lie. And the lie is that if you're black, if you're, well, it's okay, let's include it, if you're non-white, I don't like doing that and putting everybody together, but it's what they do, so we'll use their language. If you're not white, if you're not straight, if you're a Muslim, if you're not Judeo-Christian, if you're not male, there's no room for you in gaming. That's what they tell you. And they make you scared so you don't actually come in and explore. Now, I know better than anyone else about fandoms and the harassment that they can give you. Just going to put it on record, the worst harassment I ever received was from the FGC, supposedly this, culturally rich and diverse community, all threatening to murder me to the point where I quit a 6-figure job to get away from it all, okay? I don't know, but they don't mean those gamers. They mean, the basement dwellers, the Dorito eaters, the stinky Cheeto fingers, the fat men with the neck beards. That's what they mean, right? Now, let me tell you, my experience. Yes, I have seen guys talk badly to women. Yes, I have seen guys use racial epithets. Yes, I have seen people use homophobic slurs. In the minority, it's got to be said. Right? And not only that, I have seen some of the most understanding and diverse communities spring up from gaming. As I've said it many times, I don't get furries. And I still believe in the real world, the vast majority of people. If you came into the working men's club where I was at, 10 years ago in a fucking fursuit, I don't know what's going to happen, guys.
That's right.
I think most guys... Thank you. Appreciate it. I think they're going to ridicule you. Right? But gaming, online communities, yeah, be a weeb, be a furry, be whatever you want. But, fucking it's fine. Like, no one cares. Just play games and talk about games and adopt elements of the fandom, and we'll sit on Discord and we'll hang out. And it's very good at helping people from different backgrounds actually engage, because we don't have any of the bullshit. We don't have any of the geography. We don't have any of the immediate physical differences, the immediate interesting differences that might make communication a little bit awkward. We completely forego it. We're just a bunch of pixels. We got some avatars. Hey, I'm Greymane. What's you? I'm Blonde Muzzle. Pleased to meet you. Let's share some pictures of wolfmen sodomizing each other. Sounds great. And you get on about it. And one of you might be, a hardcore fucking communist. The other might be a fucking nailed-on Donald Trump supporter. And you come together, right, through this common love of anthropomorphized dudes having sex with each other in suits. And it's cool. It's fine. Gaming and the internet allows, enables, and encourages all of these things, which isn't to say there are rogue elements. But it's an absolute lie to tell you that if you're different, and again, imagine the ridiculousness of trying to present a woman, 50% of the global population, as an other, right? Imagine it. I'm saying you're too different to fit into this group. When, honestly, the majority of gamers don't give a fuck. Just be good at the game when you're playing on my team. Know what you're talking about. Be fun to hang out with. That's it. That's the criteria. Anything beyond that, those are people that have, they don't speak for the totality of the group, okay? But anyway, there is money in the lie. There is money in the lie. And the lie is, guys, you don't do it. Don't go online. Whatever you do, don't play Counter-Strike. Oh my God, don't play Counter-Strike as a girl? And again, yeah, they bang on you. If you play bad. Or, I'm sure the Overwatch phenomenon, I'm sure some people have done it where they've gone, oh, a girl on my team, I'm going to feed. Fuck this, we've lost. Right? And they throw the game. I'm sure that has happened. I'm not saying it hasn't. But I'm also sure in lots of games, there's guys who go, you fucking creepy bunch of incel fucking losers. Hey, listen, what's your name? Ellie? Cool. Just mute that guy and let's play. Let's win. We can do this without him. And I'm sure that happens, right? But you never hear that story, do you? I know, because I've done it. You know what I mean? It's like there's a percentage of people, I don't know, what should we call them? Assholes. And they exist, and the asshole, right? It's like a wasp. A wasp just exists to ruin things for everyone. Having a picnic. I'm in your jam. I'm in your jam, motherfuckers. Go on, swap me. I can sting you 20 times before I'm even tired. Go on. Like, fucking wasps. Just annihilate them, obliterate them. They're fucking garbage, right? But you have the human equivalent of wasps. They're just bitter husks, take no joy in anything, and they just want to ruin everything else. Pity them. And they are in the minority. Society couldn't function if assholes were in the majority. We'd be in a feral, Mad Max-like state, wrecking each other. Constantly. So, Overwatch peddled this lie. And now you have this. Hey, everyone, we got a black character. We made some cool new threads for him. Do you like it? Cultural appropriation. I don't even know about that. What is this? Digital blackface? I don't even know about that. A hat? Really? Are you trying to evoke 70s pimp culture? Is that all black people are to you? And the guys who did this are progressive, and they're going, oh my fucking God, like, what do we need to do? What can we do? And everyone goes, oh, no, don't worry. It'll blow over. Let's do another skin. Let's do something else. It'll be all right. We'll get it right next time. Maybe they do have a point. Okay, maybe they do have a point. Okay. Tell you what we'll do. We've got this other character who is Indian, and let's do a representation of Hindus in the game. Let's do a representation of Hindus in the game. Because if we do that, that's gonna get that'll show people we understand, we respect all religions, all cultures. So let's do that. Hindu leader wants Blizzard to drop Symmetra's Devi skin from Overwatch. Not okay. Also, do notice, by the way, the hilarity. Oh, hello. Scroll up, my friends. Oh, Lord, what is happening here? I hate XSplit. Have I ever told you guys I hate XSplit? Look at this. This is what happens when you press buttons. Look at this shit. Anyway. The irony of all things what we're about to talk about. That Blizzard themselves released a Hindu-themed skin doing this. I can't make this up. I cannot make up the 8th circle of hell. The lies. The lies. Is that not the okay gesture? Did you not release this skin? Did you not market it in this pose, Blizzard? But anyway, it's not good enough. Get rid of it. Cultural appropriation, it's wrong, it doesn't represent us the right way, it's, I don't know, you've just missed it. Did a white person design it? Maybe, must be. You couldn't possibly be scholarly on Hindu or Indian culture if you're white and not a Hindu, so obviously that's bad. No problem. Well, I'll tell you what, right? Look, maybe we should, maybe we should just stay away, okay? Maybe we should just stay away from all of this. Because, you know, we've done a cultural thing and then a religious thing, and it's just upsetting everybody. So I tell you what we'll do. Why don't we cast our characters, our diverse portfolio of characters, into I don't know. Let's put them in different jobs. Who can have a problem with jobs? Who can have a problem with jobs? And what we'll do is we'll theme the characters doing the jobs, you know? We'll have a fireman, you know, we'll have a gardener, we'll have a fruit seller, you know, all the jobs. There's loads of jobs, right? And you know what? Like, that diva, she's one of our most popular characters, and we should probably give her a really good job, a job that people respect. Why don't we make Diva a police officer? Wah, wah. Wrong! Officer Diva? Are you out of your mind? Haven't you heard of Black Lives Matter? Don't you understand about police brutality? How very dare you, Blizzard? And it's at this point, right, where for all I'm a critic of Activision Blizzard, for all their hypocrisy, for their mistreatment of staff, for their lies, for the bullshit, for their shameless profiteering, for the serial mismanagement of esports games, which could have been fixed if they just listened to the communities that propped them up. This is where, I have to say, I think I feel sorry for you. I think I feel sorry for you. Because you didn't know it was going to be like this. You thought it would be non-stop positive press. You thought you could not only embrace internet culture and an esports audience, but you could also appeal to the new church of the woke progressives. You can't, because the key with this is they don't want you to convert. Oh, no. No. If everybody converted, what would they do? What status would they have? None. They will always find something you did wrong. They will always demand penance. They will always flagellate those that do not live up to the unbelievable, impossible standards. And when everybody converts, there'll just be a schism where one half believes one thing and they go after the other half and they eat each other, because that's all this is about. It's not about making the world a better place. It's about, if I wear how offended I am as a badge, if I endlessly complain, if I tell everyone how this victimizes me, I'm the most important voice in the room. Listen to me. And Activision Blizzard had no idea. But if you've been around for a few years and worked as a journalist and you've covered gaming and tech and culture and everything else, oh, I could have told you, Activision Blizzard. I could have told you, be very careful in how you word things. Be very careful in who you try and appeal and pander to. And I don't mean diverse backgrounds and religious backgrounds. I'm talking about the games press. I'm talking about the little enclaves of woke activists. Those were never the people you wanted to give free reign over your product, and you did, and now you listen to everything they say, and it's driving even the most progressive of normal people away, and you're letting the extremists be the loudest voice in the room. And that's how you end up with this. And that's how you end up with nonsense like this. And I know we've talked about it before, but context matters. Racist jokes keep showing up in Overwatch League broadcasts. Racist jokes keep showing up in Overwatch League broadcasts. And this is the second report they did. First, right, imagine the position you have to hold in your mind, the cognitive dissonance required. You make a massive deal about Guguri playing in the league. Look, a female pro is as good as the guys. It can be done. And again, representation matters. Guguri, You can laugh about it. You can mock her. You can say she's overrated. She remains an inspirational figure to female players. Fact. She is important to the league. And Guguri means frog. Guguri means frog. So when her fans go and they want to support her, you know what's on the signs? Frogs. And who's a popular frog? A popular frog who, because Hillary Clinton wanted to smear a political opponent in the previous election, who's a popular frog that we have to pretend is a hate symbol now? It's Pepe, isn't it? He's probably the most popular internet frog right now. It wouldn't surprise me, actually, if all of this Pepe being a hate symbol thing wasn't orchestrated by Hillary Clinton. It was orchestrated by Kermit, because Kermit had really gone down in popularity, hadn't he? Kermit was the go-to frog for years. Kermit was the go-to frog for years. He was doing movies, TV, getting porked every night by Miss Piggy, living the dream. And then he just wasn't popular no more, was he? And that Kermit lobby got to work. And it happened, didn't it? They fucking smeared Pepe. Right? They had to put him down because Pepe was the #1 frog. Feels bad, man. Feels birthday, man. No matter what you were feeling, man, you could have a Pepe for it. There was a smug Pepe, a suicidal Pepe, a Pepe peeing with his trousers down, a Pepe for all occasions. But Donald Trump's son tweeted out a Pepe. So it's racist now. But hasn't it been around for 15 years, if not longer, on the internet? Doesn't matter now. Donald Trump bad, Orange Man bad, Green Frog bad.
Feels racist man, allegedly.
That's what you have to do. That's how we live now. Reality changes in a second. Bad person does bad thing. Bad thing is actually only for bad people. It's gibberish. So, fans who went, and look at that daily goal counter. It just never moves. It's garbage. Fuck you, Streamlabs, right? Because I know we've had at least 30. Anyway. So now Pepe means racism, hate, whatever. And Guguri fans...
That's right. If you just stop thinking about it, it make a lot of sense.
It's true. And Guguri fans now can no longer take Pepes. Even any frog. This is true, by the way. I have been told... Oh, God. I can't believe I'm saying it. But I'm saying it. I've been told by people who go to the Overwatch League things, like, last season, that they were checking frogs. They had somebody who handled the crowd who were checking frogs to see how like Pepe they were. Okay? And if it was a Pepe, it was an absolute no. But some other frogs that looked a bit like Pepe were also vetoed. They had a frog checker! They had a frog checker! But her name means frog! But her name means frog! So if you're a fan of Guguri, you can't take a frog because it just might be too close to Pepe. And you know what? Kotaku and all these other publications, they said, great job, Blizzard. Frogs are racist now. Frogs have been co-opted by the alt-right. All right, then. How do we get down with the kids? Because I want to get down with the kids and be cool and zip-zap-zoo. I sound like Bill Cosby. How do we get down with the kids? Because kids talking memes. All right, well, here's another meme. Terrible meme. Not very funny, in my opinion. Ugandan Knuckles. Pretty short-lived meme, as memes go. Didn't really have legs, did it? Figuratively. He's got legs. You can see him there. Right? But for those who don't know, Ugandan Knuckles, I want to say it started in popular VR streams, I believe, where people would adopt this skin of a kind of scuffed Sonic character called Knuckles. And they would follow popular streamers around, just going, do you know the way? Do you know the way? Do you know the way? And they would put on it's certainly, I don't know if it was good enough to call it a specific Ugandan accent. If, like me, you've lived in Britain, you get good at picking up on different African accents, and they're all very distinct. Nigerian, Ugandan, Somalian. You can tell the inflections and tone. But anyway, that was just a running joke, and it was just like you just did it on. Do you know the way? And it's pretty terrible, really. I mean, it's just I didn't get it. I didn't think it was funny, but I certainly don't think it's racist. It's not racist, is it? To do an impersonation of somebody's voice, but not even somebody, just to try and adopt an accent affectation, like well, hey, man, my name's fucking Vince Lake, and I'm fucking doing the toot. I'm doing a terrible Geordie accent there. I'm not hating on Geordies, am I? I'm not hating on Geordies, am I? Right? It's just a thing. So, do you know the way? Right? It's just a thing. It's just, if anything, where does it all come from? I mean, there was the movie, wasn't there? Captain Alex, right? And a lot of people pulled lines from that. And, it's like, I think that's actually a great embracing of, this is African cinema. You've got kids on the internet quoting African cinema. And look, I'm sure some people did do some racist things with it, right? Because there's always some fucking moron who spoils the party. That's life, right? But most people were just doing this because they saw an internet fad and they wanted to fit in. Right? Now, if you want to kill, by the way, if you want to kill the Ugandan Knuckles meme stone dead, and you have to feel sorry for the average Overwatch player, because as part of their indoctrination to play in the Overwatch League, it is just like you just go through like the fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You just have the electroshock. They cut out your frontal lobes, and you're just there at the end, praying for the fucking cushion to just come. The pillow. Just, you take the ball and you put it in the basket, Chief. Right? But this is all you had to do to kill it. This clip is excruciatingly unfunny. It's terminally bad.
Replay, so let's check out what happened in the players' cons.
I play hard.
I know the way.
I know that way.
Do you know the way?
There must actually one guy with the way sign.
Really?
The way. Yeah.
This is the way. I know that way. Some guy should stand at the entrance like, guys, this is the way.
This is
Follow
the way.
Cosplay, there's Knuckles. The Ugandan Knuckles.
I bet it's never a dull moment, right, with those guys. Never a dull moment with the San Francisco Shock. Like, never a dull moment. The level of banter in Overwatch is so fucking terminally bad. It's like, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Regardless, does anyone think, and let's be honest, we're all adults here, does anyone think anything in that exchange was racist? And if you do, feel free to type out why. And I will not judge you. And sorry, that was mayhem. I should stipulate. My bad. So, I'm not seeing a lot of it. And again, dissent is welcome. Disagreements are welcome. I'd welcome a perspective that could make me understand it. So frogs are banned. Then they banned Ugandan Knuckles, the San Francisco Shock. The reason I bring them up is they tweeted this out and had to delete it because Blizzard told them. And it doesn't stop there. Blizzard told official teams, on your official team Discord, if you have any, go into my Discord. Watch out, guys. He's alt-righting his tits off. There's Pepe's. I've got Pepe's in my Discord because it's a cartoon fucking frog and I'm not mentally ill. Right? But if you play in Overwatch League and you run an official team Discord in Overwatch League, you can't have Pepe's. You can't have them. Even on the Discord. No one sees it.
PogChamp.
It's a matter of time. Because Overwatch are spending 90 million with Twitch. You see those little me and Sam done up as Pepe's that you're spamming right now? Get your fucking fill of that. If you're a tier 2 or tier 3 subscriber, I forget which one it is. I think it might be tier 3. If you're a tier 3 subscriber, you better get that fucking rare smug Pepe of me spammed. Because it's a matter of time before all Pepes are pulled. All frogs are pulled. It's coming. Right? And it's insane. It's insane. So, this is what you get. No frogs, no Ugandan Knuckles. These are racist memes. And then let's get down to it. I've set enough context now, guys, in the 8th circle of hell. And I have to warn everybody, because I respect my audience and I always try and prepare you with trigger warnings, because even though they've been proven to do nothing and actually increase psychological damage, a recent study showed. Don't worry too much. Again, don't think about it. Don't think about it. I'm going to give you a trigger warning. Extreme alt-rightism is about to take place. Let's have a look. Oh, no. Blizzard told a fan, this is what happened, in the Overwatch League arena, that they are not allowed to use the circle game symbol for its association as a white power symbol after they flashed it on stream, and a complaint was made to the official Overwatch League account. Okie dokie. Let's see it. Watch out. He's done it. The madman. He's played the circle game.
That's true because we had a lot.
He's played the circle game. Now, listen, this is where I come in, and I am going to say I actually don't think there is a right way for Blizzard to handle this. You're going to go, Richard, you just set it all up, man. Sympathy for the devil? What is this shit? Let me tell you. I'll show you the history of the circle game and why people pretend it's a white power symbol and why that's become necessary. But it has taken on an extra dark dimension after the Christchurch shooting. And we talked about it on the last stream. For those that aren't aware, I don't know how you could have missed it. There was a mass shooting, 50 peaceful Muslims killed and another 50 injured by a mass shooter at a mosque. And he flashed the circle. He did the circle, and I'm almost loath to show you the news reports on this, because I don't, I commend the media. Sort of, I don't know his name. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. They've done a great job on containing the attention that this sick motherfucker craves, but. Here it is. I'll just show you the picture and nothing else. And obviously his face is blurred out. But he did it. This is what he did. Here he is. And I think the face of the police pretty much embodies what we're all thinking about this guy. We'd all love fucking 5 minutes alone with this fucking human excrement. But there he is doing the circle game. And this is recent. This is topical. This is fresh in everyone's memory. This is a tragedy that is unprecedented in New Zealand. Unprecedented. And yeah, by the way,
You're not even a real journalist.
just yet another
That's right.
classic example of every white supremacist ever. Isn't it amazing how white supremacists are always the worst genetic material? Some squat, dumpy, wispy-haired ball bag, and you believe you're superior, do you? Fucking hell. Get me out. So he's done this, and like I say, this is recent. This wound is still open. So unfortunately, the kid that has played the circle game has chose the worst time to do it. And in that regard, I definitely sympathize with them because, as you'll see, they didn't know, and they didn't know the connotation. And I sympathize with Blizzard because right now, as pathetic as it is, that symbol, that is associated with the foul act that this guy did. Now, here's why you shouldn't get hysterical. Because we all agree, let's not use his name. Let's not show his face. Let's not even allow people to host or report on his manifesto. New Zealand went so far to ban websites discussing the incident. Too far for me. We all agree that we don't want to give him that notoriety. We don't want to give him that power. We don't want to let him be memorable in any way. Why on earth, then, are we going to let him have his express wish, which was to create division by him pretending all of these things are white supremacist? There's a secret white supremacist conspiracy happening right now. Because I'm going to tell you something, it might surprise you all. Nowhere in the world are white supremacists going up to each other and going, oh, are you, huh? And then they go, yeah, brother, yeah, we're evil, yeah. No one's doing that. That isn't happening. Nobody's doing that. He wants you to think that's what's going on. He wants you to get worried about innocuous shit like what's happening in the background there at Overwatch, because that was his modus operandi. And if more people had reported on his manifesto, which was, I read it cover to cover, and it is a wall of dribble written by a self-aggrandizing, pathetic stain of humankind. And I downloaded it and preserved a copy of it instantly because I knew it was getting memory hold. But in it, he said several things. For example, he said he was radicalized by Fortnite and Spyro the Dragon. He said he deliberately chose the gun he chose, a semi-automatic weapon, because he knew that is the one that gun control lobbyists in America would point out is the one they've been trying to ban for ages. He wanted to precipitate the culture war. The reason he shouted, subscribe to PewDiePie, is he has followed the media hysterical coverage, trying to imply that PewDiePie is alt-right, when in reality, PewDiePie is just an irresponsible celebrity. He's not alt-right. He's not a racist. But he knew people would say that, and he knew enough people would reject that it would cause friction, and it would cause tension. And then, in the only time he was photographed, he dropped the circle game. And he did it because there has already been a hoax circulated that is a white nationalist symbol, that the three fingers mean W and this part means P for power. And it doesn't. And it never has. And it's the universal symbol for okay. And we're giving this fucking garbage, absolute garbage, this subhuman. We're giving him all this power and influence and attention by this hysteria. People tweeted me, I'll show you some of the Twitter arguments I got involved in, and they said it was banter before, but now the Christchurch killer has used that symbol, it's serious. I don't know what to tell you. The only power he has now that he's in custody and is going to face the rest of his sorry fucking life in prison, the only power he has right now is to troll you and to make you hysterical, and you're going to give it to him. What a goddamn fucking sad state of affairs. Right. Let's hear from the person that got told. Apparently, we're no longer allowed to do the circle game during Overwatch League broadcast because it's a white supremacist symbol, ? This has been happening since last season, and this is the first we've ever heard about it having such connotations. This proves, by the way, that it is the Christchurch incident that has precipitated this new policy. But Blizzard asked for it to stop, so no more. And you can see somebody complained. Who was that human trash flashing the white power hand signal during the interview with Decay? I hope they're banned from going to further matches. #racism. #OWL 2019. Now, the guy goes on. I wasn't at the arena tonight because I had to work, but it was a friend that was called out for it and spread the word to the rest of us. And I'm just, ? This has been going on all season and part of last. How had we not heard about this sooner? Nobody is inherently angry about it. I understand Blizzard wanting to avoid that negative connotation, no matter the intent. It's more concerning that it hadn't been addressed sooner, because that brings up the issue that it could have sent the wrong message long before now. So look, let's get back to some of the Rod tweet chain, because what you will see in it is there an apology from the fan called Steel Trainer, saying, I was the fan throwing up the symbol, the OK symbol, the circle symbol, whatever you call it, and I want to apologize for not knowing the context behind it. The super fans have been using it for the old Gotham game all season. I'll show you what that is. But now that we know the context, it is unacceptable. Thank you for bringing this up. It will not happen again. And I replied to that, and I think lots of other people did, saying, look, this is gibberish. You didn't do anything wrong. Your apology is incredibly mature, but might actually be doing more harm than good. I mean, look, even Doa, it's not your fault our culture has apparently decided to let 4chan dictate every old gesture, meme, or symbol should belong to them now. Don't sweat it. And I think that's what most people said. I actually got a little bit of faith restored by looking at that thread, because everyone was like, this is crazy. Let's talk about where this comes from. So let's talk about it originally. Why would anybody want to make a circle and make you look at it, right? Why? Well, let me show you. The circle game, the Gotham game, whatever you want. And I'm always loath to use Urban Dictionary for it, but it's got a good summary in. And basically tells you what we already know. I mean, like I say, it wasn't very popular in the UK. Come on, Urban Dictionary. I've got cookies. Yep. But I want the page. The page. All right. I'll have to find another one. They had a really good write-up of the circle game. That's a shame. Okay, here we go. I'm hoping this hasn't been radically altered to suddenly be everyone's alt-right and racist, because it is on dictionary.com and they keep throwing the hat in the ring with being crazy. Right. Where does the circle game come from? Look at that symbol. Try not to be triggered. Playable anywhere. The circle game is initiated when one person makes a circle with their forefinger and thumb, resembling the OK gesture, and holds it below waist level. Now, obviously, I'm not saying the game hasn't evolved a little bit, but he couldn't have held it below waist level, could he? He said, his own words, it was the Gotham game, the circle game. He can't hold it below his waist because his waist's not on camera, so he held it up in the air. If someone else makes eye contact with a circle, then the circler gets to punch them in the arm. Players especially enjoy the game in inappropriate situations. That's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes setting elaborate or creative traps for their target. In one common variation of the circle game, if the target person breaks the circle with their finger, they get to punch the circler instead. The origins of the circle game are disputed. People anecdotally recall playing the game in the schoolyard of the 1970s to the 1980s. Vice traced the game to one Matthew Nelson, who claims credit for having invented it in New Bremen, Ohio in the early 80s, though there's no proof he either created it or named it. The TV show Malcolm in the Middle, I'm going to show you that clip in a minute, which featured the game, helped popularize the circle game in the noughties. Now understand, motherfuckers, I wasn't watching Malcolm in the Middle in the noughties. Probably is why the circle game passed me by. I was out being a right raging heterosexual, yeah? Fucking boxing and rugby and sex and beer, yeah? In the 2010s, references to the circle game have grown in popularity, often as an online meme, marking a new digital era of the schoolyard game. Its contemporary usage may be driven by millennial nostalgia for an effort to capitalize on it, or simply by the possibilities the internet has opened up for the game. Right, and of course, think about it. Pictures on the internet, you're doing it sneaky. Live video stuff. That's the circle game. That's what people are doing, right? But not only that, okay? The reason that the circle game has the OK gesture is because it's already a popular and well understood gesture. It has existed. Let me have a look. I'll bring up the Wikipedia page, shall we? Let's see how far back this goes. And then keep in mind, I'm being told by random fuckheads on Twitter that that symbol that you see in the top right, sorry again, I triggered you all, right? I'm being told that it has always had a connotation with the alt-right. It has a long-standing history with white nationalism. Are you fucking mental? Right. Classical usage. Ring gestures formed by forefinger and thumb with remaining digits extended, appear in Greece at least as early as the 5th century. There's Buddha. Was he in the alt-right? Did he sit under that fucking tree, meditating, getting fucking zen, and said, yeah, what we need is an ethno-state, isn't it? He didn't, did he? Because he's Buddha. So the combination of the circle game and the fact that this is a benign symbol, right, already contributes to why it is stupid beyond belief to suddenly allow this short-lived new meaning to be the one that for the whole of history we have to do. The same people that say the spicy F word will always be homophobic, despite, multiple other uses and history. They say the N-word, even when it's used in rap lyrics, can only ever be racist. But now we're going to take something that is centuries old, and because of an internet fad, because Orange Man bad, it now can only mean this one thing. You're fucking out your mind. American upper-class imperialist people think that the whole world is them. And every other culture can go fuck itself. And they're the woke ones, by the way. They're the ones who are enlightened. Our standard and no other. Garbage. So, let me show you some pictures that really set this powder keg. Right. Because I was going to make a scripted video of this, so I already know most of this off the top of my head. Right. While Trump was on the campaign trail, okay, 2016, the dream, we're all having a good time, right? Because Trump's not going to win, so the media just treated him like he was just a fuck running for office. And they just made fun of him because he couldn't possibly win. Different now he's won. We must absolutely pretend everything he does is the most evil thing ever, more evil than Hitler. Repeatedly say that, you know, because he won. We can't have that. No deviations from the script allowed, people. Right. August 2016. What Trump's hand gestures say about him? What do they say about him? Why does he do the circle gesture, BBC? Will you even show me? Will you play in this country? Oh, we'll just watch a Microsoft ad first, okay? Yeah. I do open a bottle of beer, yeah.
People actually know the level of science that's filled into that bottle. Back in time, it took Carlsberg several years to produce
Carlsberg ain't real beer, though, is
but
it, love?
using
So
Microsoft artificial
no one thinks that.
intelligence, we will be able to detect new flavors in a split second and develop better beers faster.
With AI, we redefine what's possible.
So cheers.
I hope AI does redefine Carlsberg.
Trump is a New York City
Body language expert.
and
Tell me how
New
racist Trump is
Yorkers
with his
tend
hand
to
gestures.
Use a lot of hand gestures. We
Yeah.
all do. He's
Yeah, we all do, yeah.
entertaining, even if you don't buy a thing he's saying.
I was walking, I was talking, I was feeling so fine on a weekend day in the bright sunshine.
I don't think he's been coached heavily on his body language, and people pick up on that in an instant. They pick up his authenticity.
Military, and we're going to take care of our veterans.
L-shaped and
This is his
pinch.
baseline. It's kind of an alternating
Oh!
I hand
Okay.
gesture
Mhm.
with an L shape.
Oh, right. Okay,
Right?
right.
It looks precise.
right now.
Not wishy-washy. He's got this nailed.
Nailed. Okay, right.
People are shocked. People are shocked.
Oh, is that all you have to
uses
say
this
about
as
it? Wait, 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 wait,
Look
wait,
at
wait,
this.
wait, wait, wait. Thought this was racist. Thought this was a racist hand gesture. Thought this meant white power, and it was well known and well documented. And this is only 2016. It's not ancient history. So what you're saying is he is deliberately punctuating the air to make his points known with this hand gesture. So let me just hear again. Let me just-
I don't think he's been coached heavily.
Hasn't been
on
coached.
His body
It's not a
language.
dog
And
whistle.
people
Okay.
pick up on that in an instant. They pick up his authenticity.
And it's authentic. And the L shape and pinch means what?
This is his baseline. It's kind of an alternating I hand gesture
Yeah.
with an L shape.
Right.
So it's right here. It looks precise.
right now.
Not wishy-washy. He's got this nailed.
People are shocked.
Well, so interesting to know, isn't it? This is the real start of it, guys. Don't let anybody lie to your face in the 8th circle of hell where everyone is a liar. Do not let anybody lie to you and say it started anywhere but here. Because what started happening was Donald Trump was getting round-the-clock coverage and giving all these speeches. And he did this a lot while he was talking, doing this and this and this. And Trump supporters noticed it. And I think almost in a way to mask the strangeness of it being almost like a tick and something he did a lot, they adopted it as a symbol. So you have a lot of high-profile people doing the OK symbol. And then just prior to the election, I mean, you know, you get, let me try and find the very first use. Okay. Again, this is going to trigger everybody. I am so sorry. I am so sorry to do this to you. I'm about to show a picture of Milo. Okay. Take a deep breath. I'm sorry. I have to do this. It's in the interests of, you know, documenting things. So I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, no. It's sending me to Hate Watch. Why can't I just have the picture? I don't want to go to Hate Watch, not Hate Watch. All right, can we just have the picture, please? Thank you. That's Milo, my old friend, wearing a Make America Great Again hat and doing the circle thing. And this is about mimicking what he called Daddy Trump, okay? It gets problematic because just prior to the election, let me see if I can find the exact one. And I think this was the night of the election. An actual Nazi did do it. An actual Nazi did do it. And I want to just remind you before we take a look at that picture, right? Here's Donald Trump doing it on the campaign trail. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me. Come on, XSplit. Oh, Lord. Let's try again. Nope. Doesn't want it. All right, fine. I'll give you another one. Okay? You'll be able to do a compare and contrast to the Milo thing. Am I giving you another one? Oh my Lord. I fucking hate you, XSplit. I hate you so much. There it is. I'm going to make giant mecha Trump here. So just try and remain calm. Right? That's him in the debates. That's him in the debates. This is what they are mimicking. This is what they are mimicking. But then we have a problem, Houston. And listen, I've said it multiple times. Richard Spencer is slime. I'll say it again for the people in the back. Richard Spencer's a piece of shit. There's nothing in common. I wouldn't talk to him. I wouldn't be in the same room as him. When I saw that video of Milo singing while Richard Spencer was doing a Sieg Heil in the crowd, knowing that Milo's like Jewish and stuff, turned my fucking stomach. It's very hard to reconcile for me. Because I think Richard Spencer is just a vile human being. And he's almost like the respectable face, isn't he? Of that fucking vileness. But here he is. He did this. He's outside the Trump International Hotel, and he did the mimic. He mimicked the Trump gesture outside the Trump Hotel to show that he supported Trump. And yes, he is a white supremacist. He is a racist. He is a neo-Nazi. He is alt-right. Pick your poison. And he's doing it. But that wasn't enough. You notice. That wasn't enough to trigger this insanity about it. But what then happens is 4chan get involved. They see the proliferation of they see the proliferation of the OK symbol, the circle game, being connected to Trump. And we've had, I mean, guys, you know, because you followed it. We just had months of hysteria. 2 years of hysteria. Trump's a traitor. He's working with Russia. He's Putin's puppet. But he's doing stuff that actually hurts Russian interests and harms our relationship with Russia. He just is. Rolling coverage of lies after lies after lies. And 4chan, it's a collection of weaponized autism, sure, but there's a lot of, people that can see what's happening socially, are astute enough to exploit it. Getting rid of that. So they said, let's do a hoax. And let's be clear, 4chan have a very long history of hoaxes. I don't even know if I can share some of them, because a lot of them are way too fucking edgelordy. A lot of them are ridiculous. But let me just show you one. Do you remember the time 4chan, they convinced people to microwave their phones, didn't they? Do you remember that? Here's a graphic of it. Here's a graphic of someone who did it. They put out disinformation. It was like Project Mayhem from Fight Club, what they were doing. And they put out Apple-branded disinformation saying you can charge your phone by microwaving it, and people did it and their phones blew up and everyone sat back and oh God, isn't that hilarious? There was a time they convinced feminists to piss themselves in public to support sexual assault victims, and people took photos of them having pissed themselves and uploaded it. I think there was the time where they did, there was a vote for Person of the Year. And they had a public vote for it. And 4chan rigged it. And do you know who they voted for? Kim Jong-un. And if you don't believe me, here it is. 4chan did this. How 4chan made Kim Jong-un Time Reader's Person of the Year. There he is. A giant satellite head. A giant head. Floating around. And they did that. And that was a hoax. And everyone had a laugh about it. Then there was what they did with Pitbull. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a vote again, and it was on Facebook, and that Pitbull said that he will perform wherever the fans want to go. So he ended up going to a Walmart in Alaska because of 4chan. What about the time they tried to get Taylor Swift to perform at a school for the deaf? And that was a hoax. And we all had a laugh about it. Because it's funny. Personal favorite. I got to make sure I can show this graphic. Mountain Dew, 2012. They came out and they said, we want the public to name... God. We want the public to name a new drink for us. Give us a name. And in an operation called Gushing Granny, 4chan did its thing. And this is what we ended up with. Moist Nugget, Gushing Green Granny, Fabulous Apple, Gushing Granny, Gushing Grannies, Granny Squirt, Gushing Granny, Fapple, Gushing Granny. My personal favorite, Diabetes. I can't even show you some of the others because of the sensitive humor involved in it. But this is what 4chan do. It's what they've always done. If you've been on the internet since the internet started, like me, you know two things. 4chan are responsible for some of the most hilarious pranks ever in the history of the internet. And secondly, you must never, ever, ever fuck with 4chan. Never, ever fuck with 4chan. Because you lose. So anyway, because of the popularity of the circle game, because Trump was making this hand symbol, because Trump supporters were doing the hand symbol gesture, they came up with an idea. And it wasn't just them, it was other celebrities that had had racial scandals, race-related scandals. And this is the post, and I know you've all seen it, right? It's small there. I can't zoom in. I'll read it to you. And again, this is in early 2017. February, late February 2017. You see the date, 27th of February 2017. So even when Richard Spencer was doing it, nobody said it was a white nationalist thing. Even when Milo Yiannopoulos was doing it, they didn't say it was a white nationalist thing. Right? The post reads, "We must flood Twitter and other social media websites with spam, claiming that the OK hand sign is a symbol of white supremacy. Make fake accounts with basic white girl names and type shit like, oh my god, that's so true. Use as many emojis as you please. It would also be good for us to associate the OK sign being a symbol of white supremacy because Mel Gibson uses it. Use the hashtag #PowerHandPrivilege in all of your tweets and whatnot related to this. Bonus points if your profile pic is something related to supporting feminism. Leftists have dug so deep down into their lunacy, we must force them to dig more until the rest of society ain't going anywhere near that shit."
You're not even a real journalism.
This was called 4chan Operation OKKK. That's what it was called. That's what they called it, and that's what they did. Now, understand the goal of this. The goal of this isn't to create a white supremacist dog whistle. The goal of this isn't to create a secret code for white supremacists. The goal of this is to make you think this is real. And then when you say it is, and everyone laughs at you, everything else that comes out your mouth is discredited. That's the purpose. That's the joke. But how long do you think it took? Well, one of the first high-profile ones was and again, I've covered these before on the show. Let me just see if I can find it. The HuffPost is the best example. Okay, let's just do this. I'm sure it's got the picture in. Must have. Shut up. Why aren't you showing the picture? God, that's stupid. Hang on. Is that it? Wait, so I've got to find the picture. Yes, I've got it. Here we go. On Haaretz, of all things. Maybe HuffPost deleted their reportage on this. But this comes in hot in April 30th of 2017. So wait, what you mean is, in February, 4chan started an operation to troll leftist media to make them think the white hand symbol, the OK symbol, was a white supremacist symbol. And by April 2017, it's being parroted as real. And the people who are in on the troll are doing it, knowing it'll generate insane headlines like this. It's weird. It's like the timeline makes total sense. Two alt-right members, Cassandra Fairbanks and Mike Cernovich, both many things, neither of which are in the alt-right. Two alt-right members accused of flashing white power sign at White House. While the journalists refute the claim, the symbol is claimed to be a nod to the far-right movement and its white supremacist values. Interesting. Why are we suddenly saying this? Right? Two members, and you'll notice, they change it. Up here, they are alt-right members. in the report, they go, 2 members associated with the alt-right. Well, which one is it? Because let me tell you, that's a pretty big distinction. Fuck that. Facts don't matter. Let's talk about the nasty gesture. 2 members associated with the alt-right movement have stirred controversy online after flashing a hand symbol in the White House press room that some have claimed is a white supremacist symbol, The Independent reported Sunday. Cassandra Fairbanks, a reporter for state-owned Russian news agency, she's rigging the election, right? Sputnik and freelance journalist and conspiracy enthusiast he is, Mike Cernovich, was snapped making the controversial symbol. Wasn't controversial even when Richard Spencer did it, remember. Wasn't controversial in 2016. It's controversial at the start of 2017. That's weird. It's controversial after the 4chan hoax. Oh, interesting. The photo was first picked up in a tweet by Fusion journalist Emma Roller on Saturday. Just 2 people doing a white power hand gesture in the White House. Now, you'll notice this tweet's deleted. Why is it deleted? Interesting. Because she got threatened with a lawsuit. Cassandra Fairbanks said, I'm not taking that. So she threatened to sue. And I think actually did sue. Let me just show you. If any more proof, by the way, that you need that this is just a hoax occurs, it's referred to a hoax in court documents and court reporting. What do you mean? In June, Emma Roller, reporter sued after falling for white power hoax. Mike Cernovich even said, trap was set and they walked into it. Fake news looks trivial, absurd, and most of all, dishonest. A writer described as having made a white power hand gesture brought a federal complaint against the Fusion report saying she is the victim of ideological bias. Talks about the tweet that I just showed you. And yeah, you're right. As I recall, I think this got dropped or not pursued. But Emma Roller still deleted her tweets and still retracted her position. You know why? Because it's a fucking hoax. And she knew in that moment she'd been got. How embarrassing. How embarrassing to get played like that. Let me show you another instance, by the way, of... I don't know if you caught this, because I don't think we covered this on the show. Vox will tell you about it. During the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, there was somebody called Zena Bash, who is Brett Kavanaugh's former law clerk. And she knew she was on a live stream, and she knew she was being televised. So here's what she did. She played the circle game. Uh-oh. The world went mad. People started tweeting. This is Eugene Gu, MD, a doctor who it was exposed had an unbelievably creepy, mad thing going on with an ex, had been arrested on domestic abuse charges, and all his only claim to fame is that he is part of this hashtag resistance. I need to do a video on all of these resistance goons. Eugene Gu, the Krasensteins, all of these morons. These people were mentally ill, and everyone on the internet's encouraging them. Kavanaugh's former law clerk, Zena Bash, is flashing a white power sign behind him during his Senate confirmation hearing. They literally want to bring white supremacy to the Supreme Court. What a national outrage and a disgrace to the rule of law. Keith R. Dumas, in a now deleted tweet, who is she? What's up with the white power sign? Right? But here's the thing. Everybody knows it's not a white power sign. Vox. Not you, Vox. I always rely on you for the craziness. What's the most extreme leftist take? What's the most disingenuous take that you could possibly hold? And I go to Vox. Even fucking Vox. No, a former cabinet clerk did not flash a white power sign. Here's what really happened. A 4chan prank explained. I won't point out that she's Jewish. So again, the idea she'd be in an organization that would eradicate her is so mind-blowingly stupid. So even as late as September 2018, everyone's still got a hold of their scruples. Right? The ADL tell you, okay? The ADL tell you, and for those who don't know, that's the Anti-Defamation League, and they specialize in battling against hate. And yes, they were politically pressured into saying sometimes Pepe is a hate symbol, but a lie that even Hillary Clinton had deleted off her own website, by the way. She stands by the frog racism claim so much, she deleted it off her own website that published the initial lie, right? And all of the rest of the idiots out there are frothing at the mouth and going, Pepe bad, Pepe racist, frog bad, frog racist. Not even the person who perpetuated the lie, not even the origin point of the lie exists anymore. Well done, guys. Here's the ADL. No. The OK symbol is not a white power symbol. That's the headline if you Google it. How the OK symbol became a popular trolling gesture. This is the title after an update there in September 2018. Has the simple thumb and forefinger OK hand gesture become a common white supremacist hand sign? Not quite, but it has become a popular gesture used by people across several segments to the right and far right, including some actual white supremacists who generally use it to trigger reactions or what they would describe as trolling the libs. And this is thanks to a 2017 hoax campaign started by members of the notorious website 4chan that has since taken on a life of its own. Needs another sentence there, ADL. It's taken on a life of its own because there are mentally ill people driving political discourse. People who are so fucked up, they genuinely think there are secret Nazis everywhere in America using hand symbols and coded language, and eventually they're going to take over, and we must resist, and Trump is the fucking Cheeto Hitler. And it's like, this all comes from people who have never seen a day of hardship in their life, by the way. And they just convince some people, some groups who have, to get on board this insanity train. When actually, in reality, you live in a democratic society, you have so many freedoms in America, and you really don't know anything about hardship and oppression, by contrast to actual totalitarian, tyrannical countries, many of which exist, and many of which do business with America. So it tells you the full thing. What's also funny is this wasn't the only hoax. It was just the only one that stuck. Let me show you another one. A PSYOP, right? And there's ways to spot a PSYOP. I'll talk you through it now. Okay? This is a Medium article that got put out there. Dabbing for Hitler. How the alt-right turned an innocent meme into Sieg Heil. So this is how you spot a PSYOP when people are trying to fuck with you. They've given him an unbelievable soy boy leftist name, Quincy Frey. There's no one. He's not a writer. He's not famous. It's on a Medium. Anybody can upload to Medium. Relatively untraceable. Relatively unaccountable. And they put it in language that very closely mirrors the absurdity of leftist think pieces that you see on these extreme progressive websites. But there's always little giveaways. Our memes, our culture, our dances, our music are all under threat from 4chan. And their madness or meme chaos magic, or short form meme magic. Immediately, that opening sentence tells me someone from 4chan wrote this. They didn't do a very good job. But dabbing for Hitler was one. And the article's full of it. Then there was another scam. You'll also notice it's the same author because they kept trying it again and again and again. I don't even remember the trash dove. But Quincy Frey, he's in there. Combating hate. The right-wing dove squad. How the trash doves became the symbol of the alt-right. Look, that's a bird. This is the SS. And that's a trash dove wearing a Nazi hat. It's the alt-right co-opting symbols again, guys. Wake up. They're everywhere co-opting the symbols. There was another one. Hang on. Let me try and remember it. At the trash dove. Ah, yes. We had another one. Is this the article I want? Because it might be another one. Another Medium article by the classy libertarian about the T-pose. There's someone doing a T-pose. Not only is the T-pose racist, it's also violent. The T-pose is designed to oppress minorities. Do you see the theme that keeps occurring here? They are mirroring what these extreme leftist websites like to do. To take something, talk endlessly about it, and just use it to talk about their very, agenda-driven narrative. That's all they want to talk about, and they'll just use whatever to talk about. I'll demonstrate how they're doing it with the Joker movie when I get another fucking beer, because I'll need to buckle the fuck up for that one, won't I? But the difference is, nobody fell for the dabbing one. Nobody fell for the trash pigeon one. Nobody fell for the T-pose one. But you best believe everyone has fallen for the OK symbol one. And it is ridiculous. And people say to me, they go, Richard, but symbols change over time and they can take on a new meaning. What about the swastika? All right. I'm going to tell you through my Western eyes, right? From somebody who is literally a descendant of people who fought real Nazis, fought in World War II, won medals for doing so. Which, by the way, blows my mind, America. Blows my mind. Is it American guilt, by the way, that you talk about fighting Nazis all the time because you dilly and dallied on World War II because it didn't fucking affect you till Pearl fucking Harbor? Is that what it's about, America? Because if it is, I'd like you to be fucking honest about it. You know? Just call that as it is. The Brits know a thing or two about fucking the actual Nazis and fought them. So yes, to my eyes, to Western eyes, when we see the swastika, what do we think of culturally? Of course, we think of the Nazis, one of the most evil regimes who lived, who existed, who did these atrocities that have echoed throughout history that we still feel the effects of now. Because culturally, that's the power of it. That's what it means to us, our history. But when you go to other countries, to countries where the swastika originates, countries that weren't as impacted on by swastikas, to them, the swastika doesn't have that negative connotation. Let me show you something. All right? And Americans, they get on social media and complain about this every fucking time, and it's this cultural imperialism that they impose on the rest of the world. Our standard or nothing else. This is an article from a travel website. Hungry for kosher food in Taiwan, look for swastikas. In Taiwan, if you want to get kosher food, right, you will see swastikas everywhere in Taiwan, which, by the way, China says doesn't exist. And you can see the same symbol whose sight would make me feel uncomfortable, even unsafe back home, sparked in me some sort of relief and sympathy on this distant island. And this article's a pretty good read. Tells you about how if you want to go get kosher food, this is what, you know, if you want to be kosher adherent, if you're a Jew, you actually seek out the swastikas, and you can get that type of food there. And then people go, but Richard, swastikas are a peace symbol, right? Lol. Do you know the world is bigger than fucking Twitter, you stupid cunts? And who the fuck are you to say that Taiwan have to change all of these signs? They don't know about it. Well, I mean, they know about it, but it just didn't have the huge cultural ramifications. They're stuck with the traditional meaning for them. And isn't that good? Aren't you against cultural appropriation? There was a deliberate reason the Nazis chose the swastika. And while, as I said, I don't want to see swastikas in the West, in America, don't want to see it, right? I wouldn't have the fucking audacity to go to India, Taiwan, other parts of Southeast Asia and tell them, get those swastikas out my face. Because, you know, I thought we were against that. Obviously, it's not racist. Context, for fuck's sake. This happened. Berlin hair salon in Taiwan got asked to take down its Nazi swastika logo. Again, symbol of peace, saying welcome, come on in. If you look, it's even a swastika made out of cutthroat razors. And German diplomats complained and said, that's offensive to us. And, you know, imagine how every fucking non-German feels, by the fucking way. But that's where we're at. And symbols take on new meanings, Richard. Yes, all of which are culturally contextual. And I shouldn't have to point this out, but evidently I do, because everyone's lost their goddamn fucking mind. Right. The Nazi regime deliberately taking and inverting a symbol of peace and prosperity because Hitler was a fucking whack job and was obsessed with mystical symbolism and religious artifacts because he thought it would give him some power so he could have this glorious new fucking empire and rule the entire world. Because if you think he was a stable human being, you're out of your motherfucking mind, as was he. He took that symbol for a fucking reason, and then did unbelievable things. The Holocaust, political dissidents killed, gays persecuted and killed, foreigners, endless war. You know, the Nazi regime in Germany, it's just such a dark period of fucking human history. How is that in any way comparable to Richard Spencer did the circle game? Oh, right. Okay, yeah, I see. Actual military regime that killed millions of people, wanted to put in a policy of ethnic cleansing, wanted to make the world homogenous and white, used this symbol to do it. Symbol that has, since the 5th century BC, been linked to peace, prosperity, approval, and since the 70s has been a popular children's game. Well, we got to get rid of all of that now because here we are in 2019. We've had a massacre and a guy's done it, and Richard Spencer used it once, so we got to fuck all that. Richard, symbols can change. What's wrong with you for even daring to suggest that a centuries-old meaning should probably have some fucking prevalence, should probably be the one that we defer to, the one that, you know, crosses cultural boundaries, crosses linguistic boundaries? Far be it from me to suggest that should be the one we go with, not the one that a bunch of fucking scumbags have decided to do to try and drive you out of your minds, and it's worked.
You're not even a real journalism. That's right. Sup.
Sup indeed. So we're banning the circle. It's done. It's over. And people will go, Richie, why do you want to fight for it anyway? What the fuck? Who cares? It's no loss. You're right about that. It's no big deal. I don't play the circle game. I only occasionally do this with my hands because I'm a gregarious hand waver as well. You're just like Donald Trump. You are. You're just like Donald Trump. But again, the slippery slope fallacy isn't really a fallacy. And it's been proven time and time again to be not a fallacy in lots of instances. And right now where we're at is we are empowering the worst people society has to offer by getting hysterical, by letting them fuck with our minds and tell us there's hidden meanings and cults and everything everywhere and everyone's out to get you. And it's just wrong. It's just wrong. That isn't what's happening. So, let's take a break there, all right? Now, I don't know if you guys think what I'm saying is insane, whether swastikas in Taiwan and India and other places should just be banned forever because of the Nazi regime, even though for many, 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 many centuries more, it has meant something completely different to them. And if anything, they want to kind of hold on to that because it's part of their heritage and their belief system. And people go, oh, it's just a symbol. How can you ever use that after Hitler? Cultural appropriation's terrible. But let's just go along with it this one time. When the worst group of people ever did it. I don't know if you think I'm unreasonable in all of this, but again, it seems to me that it's not my place as a white Westerner to go to Taiwan and tell people what they can and can't use based on their own history and traditions. Equally as well, you know, I've seen some of these same people that would be outraged at that sign on a hairdresser's. For example, turn a blind eye and go, oh, but the terrible thing they're doing, we shouldn't judge them. But a sign? So, there is no consistent approach. And I'm trying to be as logically consistent as this hysteria will allow. So I have no idea if you think that's a reasonable position. I have no idea whether you think swastikas should be banned globally. Maybe that's a reasonable position. Maybe that is something we should do just this once. But again, I do worry. I do worry about it when we get to this period where every innocuous trend, innocuous symbol can be co-opted. And we go, oh, it's been co-opted. Now it's forever tainted. We can never use it ever again. Because where does it stop? And I'm going to, as I said, I'm going to take a break to get some more alcohol because I need it. But I want you to just think on this. Had a piece of white supremacist shit decided to make a white supremacist symbol out of the Overwatch logo, which is very memeable, what would Blizzard do? Would Blizzard change the logo? Because if they would, then I kind of respect it. Let me show you the speech first. I think the speech is amazing. Yeah, this might be it.
Men vi vet at mange døde.
That's right.
Let me see what I'm
Funny
finding.
this guy spiraled down the mentally ill rabbit hole trying to get his gotcha moment Lewis dab.
Do I need to put the subtitles on? Yeah, fuck it. It's 6 minutes of reading subtitles, but please read what this guy had to say. And again, in an era of Donald Trump and his doctored videos, I want you to see what a real world leader looks like, because what the truly great world leaders do, when there's a crisis, when there's a national tragedy, they know what to say to bring people together. This speech blew my mind.
Kjære Eskil, kjære alle sammen. Det nå snart 2 døgn siden Norge ble rammet av den verste ugjerningen siden krigen. På Utøya og i Oslo. Det føles som en evighet. Det har vært timer, dager, netter, fylt av sjokk, fortvilelse, sinne og gråt. I dag det tid for sorg. I dag skal vi tillate oss å stoppe litt opp. Minnes de døde. Sørge over dem som ikke...
And this is a vigil attended by parents who lost their children in this atrocity. 92.
Gått tapt. Flere fortsatt savnet. Hver og en av dem som har gått bort en tragedie. Til sammen utgjør tapet en nasjonal tragedie. Fortsatt strever vi med å begripe omfanget. Mange av oss kjente noen som borte. Enda flere vet om noen. Jeg kjente flere. En av dem var Monica. I over 20 år jobbet hun på Utøya. For mange av oss var hun Utøya. Nå hun død, skutt og drept, mens hun skapte trygghet og glede for ungdom fra hele landet. Hennes mann Jon og døtrene Victoria og Helene i Drammen kirke i dag. Det så urettferdig. Dere skal vite at vi gråter med dere. En annen som borte Tore Eikeland. Leder av AUF i Hordaland og en av våre mest talentfulle ungdomspolitikere. Jeg husker han fikk hele landsmøtet i Arbeiderpartiet til å juble da han holdt et engasjert innlegg mot EUs postdirektiv og vant. Nå han død. Borte for alltid. Det ikke til å begripe. Dette 2 av de vi har mistet. Vi har mistet mange andre på Utøya og i regjeringsbygget. Snart får vi navn og bilde på alle. Da vil omfanget av ondskapen tre fram i all sin gru. Det blir en ny prøvelse. Men vi skal klare den også. Midt i alt det tragiske jeg stolt av å bo i et land som har maktet.
And this is the crucial part here. When we think about the hysteria.
Jeg imponert over hvor mye verdighet, omsorg og fasthet jeg har møtt. Vi et lite land, men vi et stolt folk. Vi fortsatt rystet over det som traff oss, men vi gir aldri opp våre verdier. Vårt svar mer demokrati, mer åpenhet og mer humanitet, men aldri naivitet. Ingen har sagt det finere enn AUF-jenta som ble intervjuet av CNN. Om en mann kan vise så mye hat, tenk hvor mye kjærlighet vi alle kan vise sammen. Til slutt, la meg si til familier over hele landet som mistet en av sine kjære. Dere har min og hele Norges dypeste medfølelse i sorgen. Ikke bare det, hele verden føler med dere. Jeg har lovet å overbringe kondolanser til dere fra Barack Obama, Vladimir Putin, Fredrik Reinfeldt, Angela Merkel, David Cameron, FNs generalsekretær, EUs president og mange, mange flere. Dette kan aldri erstatte tapet. Ingenting kan bringe deres kjære tilbake. Men vi trenger støtte og trøst når livet er som mørkest. Nå er livet som mørkest for dere. Dere skal vite at vi er der for dere.
Now, I don't like to use hyperbole. I don't think I've ever seen a more profound political speech, one that was delivered with such dignity and class at such a dark time. And the central message is absolutely clear. And mad fucking, I do not know how you even make it through that without tearing up. The willpower, the dignity, it's, you know, and you can see this is a world. This isn't like Donald Trump sending out condolences to yet another shooting in America. This is a man deeply and profoundly affected by a national tragedy. So, the central message he said, and it was summarized by a brilliant quote: if one man is capable of so much hate, imagine how much love we can give together. Anders Breivik wanted to shut down trust between peoples. He said that the reason he targeted these children was because he said the Labour Party had betrayed the white race, some fucked up white nationalist nonsense. And they said there'll be more trust, and there'll be more compassion, and there'll be more openness. Because they didn't want Anders Breivik, who was one of the inspirations for the Christchurch shooter, to hold any dominion over the society and their values. And that's the only way to treat these people. And as I said, I wrote an article about it at the time, saying exactly this. 2011.
Not even a real journalism.
Lessons amidst tragedy in Oslo. Stop me if this sounds familiar, guys. In the aftermath of the calculated murder of 76 civilians in Oslo, it later rose to 92 because of hospital deaths and people not making it through. It seems everyone is talking about what we should learn from it all. For me, the lesson I've learned is that humanity still has the capacity to break my heart, that I could be shook from my numb apathy, and that I could mourn for the dead I had never met. And while the analysts want to scan the perpetrator's manifesto for answers, as if rationalization lay within, while the far-right groups look to distance themselves from the atrocity that underlines the sinister realities of where their thinking leads, while the Western politicians use it as a platform for tighter controls on a population that dreams of liberty, even though it never remembers when it wakes. While all this takes place, the families bury their loved ones and are left only with their grief. And it is easy to be angry. The senselessness of the crime, the vulnerability of the targets, the stories that come from the island shooting read like transcripts of those who had survived a war, but they are mostly children. And yet these people were not at war and had no hate in their hearts, innocent victims in a conflict that they had no comprehension of, even as it took their lives. So yes, it is easy to be angry and all too easy to hate. It's a powerful emotion, something so primal it destroys sensibility the moment it is conceived and alters perceptions irreparably. The tools of hatred are many: blame, lies, retaliation. We have seen it so many times down the years that the prevailing question in the face of such pain isn't how shall we heal, it's who shall be next. A need for catharsis that is believed to only come from the application of twisted justice. We saw that with America, the reaction to the September 11th attacks leading to a loss of life that eclipsed even the suffering of those few mad moments. People with no connection to the event suddenly forced into the picture like spare pieces from a jigsaw with all too terrible consequences. In the need to try and grasp the big picture, we forget the only thing that is true, that there exists a human connection, one that would flourish were it not for those who want to make us forget. Those people come in many forms. The hate groups, the poisonous politicians, the righteous that make out even the misguided can never be saved, and even people like me, apathetic and inactive, who make up a silent, bored majority. Collectively, we create a culture of divide that leads to the ghettoized planet on which we exist, one where the truly terrible can happen, and we either shrug it off or echo the brutal sentiment. Respect, then, the 150,000 Norwegians who went out into the streets despite their pain and showed solidarity, not division, love and not fear, and ultimately forgiveness in the face of a provocation so extreme it'd be easy to fall into old habits. Compare and contrast the marches of the EDL, a snarling, vicious mob that knows nothing of such pain despite their constant assertion that they are under attack. Respect also the words of the Norwegian Prime Minister Jens Stoltenberg, his response a model for all Western statesmen in the future, when he said, "We will not let fear break us." The warmth of response from the people in Norway makes me sure of one thing: evil can kill a single person, but never defeat a whole people. He made his impassioned speech to a silent crowd, one that understood that their elected leader was too suffering in the same way they were, that it had hurt them as much as any of them. It was a rare, raw honesty that is often deemed to be a sign of weakness when it comes to assessing the virtues of our political masters. Here, it was as appropriate as it was genuine. He went on to say that to allow democratic principles and freedoms to be eroded would be the very victory the perpetrator had sought, calling instead for more democracy, more openness in their society. How many lives could have been saved had the rest of the Western world had a few more like him and a few less shameless profiteers? And so it seems that there will be no backlash, no blame apportioned beyond the person responsible, no clamour for new targets in a bid to restore national morale. That mistake has been made many times over, and finally it seems someone has learned its terrible lesson. Yes, lessons were there to be learned this time around, just not the usual ones that ultimately see history repeat itself. So, that is the only appropriate response to a fucking massacre like this. Every time one of these pieces of shit stick their head up over the parapet and try to make it about them and try to sow division and try to tell you that we all hate each other and let's have this fabled fucking war between people. Let's have the civil war that they want. Every time you fucking say, oh, doing this, you're a white supremacist. Every time you say there's racists everywhere. Every time you say because of very moderate and modest disagreements, our differences are irreparable. Every time you refuse to talk to a family member because you can't accept that Republicans and Democrats used to be friends with differences and not mortal enemies. These are the people you empower. And it's absurd to me that since... How many more times is it going to happen? I am not a great mind. I am not a great thinker. This was my opinion in 2011. This isn't new. This isn't because I got indoctrinated by Bannon or Breitbart or because I'm a right-winger or any of that shit. It's just because you cannot keep letting these people take over large parts of culture, large parts of discourse, make you look absurd, make you terrified, make you censor people. That is what they want. The division, the hate, the distrust. They thrive on it. And they have for centuries. And people fall for it now so readily. It's so tiresome. And it has got worse. I was genuinely optimistic back then. If you can believe it. I thought, you know what? The world can still be a horrible place. But people are getting it. We're coming together. We're driving out legitimate hate groups. We're driving out radical religious demagogues. We're saying no. We're becoming more rational, more enlightened. And then this election happened. And we've gone so far back. It's not even funny. It's terrifying. Let me show you some of the, are they debates? I don't know. Okay. I mean, I feel like there is no room for discussion on something like this. People, I understand it's a noble intention. We all want to stamp out the racist groups. You don't do that by persecuting a bunch of children playing an innocent game. You don't do it by taking a photograph from somebody who's not a racist, just right-wing, and taking it out of context and saying, but what does it really mean? You're not achieving anything positive with this. This is exactly what the actual bad people want. I had this. A guy, Rufus Pope. I put out a tweet saying, Blizzard perpetuate the myth the Circle game is a white power symbol following a well-documented 4chan hoax. Jesus Christ. He replied, when white supremacists have constantly made a show of exhibiting the symbol constantly, I don't see a problem here. So I linked him. AOC and Beto. Definitely not white supremacists. I mean, people want Beto to be a president. There he is doing a dab. People said, they're old pictures, though, before the Christchurch. Well, is Christchurch the cutoff point? Do we agree, after Christchurch, that we can't use it anymore? I don't think we should agree that. But okay, let's concede it. The next shooter, we'll see the effect this has. We'll see the division it causes. They'll pick something else. Whatever. I guess we got to wait for the next right-wing nut job, the next fucking white nationalist extremist. But here's what I don't get. You've been telling me since 2017 this is supposedly a white power symbol. And Beto did this in October 2018. AOC put this out on her Instagram like, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago. But I try to engage because I want perspective. Is your argument that white nationalists do not use the symbol as a dog whistle to other white nationalists because, oh boy, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary to that? I've shown you where it all stems from. There isn't a lot of evidence to the contrary to that. That is a fallacy. That is a fabrication. Demonstrably so. I said, no, I'm saying your chronology is completely off on why people started using the OK symbol in relation to the Trump campaign in the first place and why it was chosen for the hoax you were fallen for. They reply, it was about white nationalism, not the campaign itself. I can see why you get confused between the two, though. Also, it's not a hoax if white nationalists use a hand symbol to show that they're white nationalists. It's just ruining a perfectly good symbol. I tried to show him the stuff from the ADL. And there's just no budge. Oh, look. Mainstream orgs making mistakes about 4chan culture. This guy is saying the ADL, which he would source 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000 to back up his argument, now they're wrong. And this is like what I mean, politics, man. It's no wonder fucking flat earthers are making a comeback. Because they don't want to look at the evidence and critically assess their view. They want to take everything around. They want to take their view and make everything around it fit into a narrative that holds their view up. It's not some innocent trolling. The point of it was to make it so that white nationalists could dog whistle more easily. And again, there's no evidence of it. And I explained it. That objectively wasn't the point. The point was to dupe idiots, to discredit liberals and leftists, to make them look hysterical so other things could pass through easier without people listening to them. You fell for it. Congratulations. Let's also talk about that. I do believe that there were some extremists who said, this is perfect. Let's help proliferate this, because anything that discredits the media, anything that makes people who will stand up to hate and hate groups, anything that makes them look hysterical is good for us, because we can start sneaking some shit through. So while you're all crying about the OK symbol, who knows what the fuck you're missing? Who knows what else is going on? That's another reason why you cannot concede this ground. He replied, it's not a dupe. Haha, wouldn't it be funny if we white nationalists told people that hand signs we're making were about promoting white nationalism? It was 4chan. Yeah, that would be so funny, haha. You see, the joke doesn't work if it's white nationalists doing the symbol. Eventually, this person does concede some ground and says, even if you do believe it started in a completely innocent way, that is objectively true. That's not how it's used today, right now, right? It's used by white nationalists around the world all the time. I mean, again, it's not. It isn't. That's why when you say, show me, they go, the Christchurch guy did it. And you go, yeah. And specifically explained why in his manifesto. Same reason he shouted, subscribe to PewDiePie.
You're not even a real journalism. That's right. Almost 2 years. Feels good, man.
Here's to you, buddy. Right. This is the guy replying to the Beto and AOC pics. He says, it's almost like this happened before it was co-opted by white supremacists. This is like when people defend the swastika, saying it used to be a Hindu symbol. And again, there is some nuance here. First of all, they're not the same. And second of all, no one's defending the use of a swastika, outside, on a street corner in your neighborhood in America, which, funnily enough, I say no one's defending it. The ACLU defended the right for a guy to fucking goose step in a full SS uniform waving a Nazi flag around, saying it was protected free speech. Numerous court cases have defended the right of some of the worst scumbags to display their fucking racist paraphernalia. And I said, nice try, but the Beto photos from October 2018, which, as we know, by then people were calling it a white supremacist symbol. And then he said, noticeably, before a terrorist exhibited it during a court case following the murder of 50 people. So we're back to Christchurch. And I said, is that the cutoff date when the gesture officially becomes a hate symbol? And he goes, there's no official cutoff date where you suddenly become an asshole for using it. It's just about judgment. So Beto doing it, fine. Christchurch Killer doing it, bad. Milo Yiannopoulos doing it, racist dog whistle, married to a black guy. Anybody I think isn't a progressive doing it, dog whistle. Beto AOC doing it, just harmless fun. That is not a position you can maintain about anything. It's just use your judgment, man. No, unfortunately, what we see increasingly is you don't have the scope to make the judgment. That's the problem. And I pointed that out to him. Said it's about your judgment. You want a situation that exists when people you don't like use it, it's racist code. When people you do like use it, the gesture is innocent and harmless. Pick a logically consistent viewpoint or accept you're an idiot. And he says, the people who use it as a form of trolling or solidarity with white supremacy are usually fairly overt about it. In neither case am I concerned that they may no longer use it. The people who use it as an innocent gesture aren't the ones complaining. And then I said, but you're complaining about the people who are using it for its decades-old meaning. So where did I complain? I mean, multiple complaints, as you saw. I said I don't have a problem with the symbol being banned at Blizzard events when it's increasingly becoming synonymous with either edginess or white supremacy. And then I said, do you think edginess and white supremacy are comparable? This guy replies, ideas, man. Undoubtedly linked. Edgy humor or white supremacy, guys. Undoubtedly linked. Undoubtedly. I used to like George Carlin, pretty edgy comedian. Undoubtedly a white supremacist. I mean, it was all dog whistles the entire time. Trying to think, what other edgy humor? Isn't Louis C.K. edgy? Can we talk about him still? I don't know. Bill Burr. Again, in an interracial marriage, but probably dog whistles. Because edginess and white supremacy are undoubtedly linked. I said, feel free to elaborate. Every white supremacist mass murderer this decade has been some edgelord with a manifesto. Someone replied saying, you mean too? That's accurate. I think that includes Breivik. Someone here replied saying, yes, the legendary Nazi dab. I showed him that other hoax article. Everyone had a laugh. Then this guy chimed in and said, but look, he's using the circle, the shooter from Christchurch. So then I pointed this out. And this is controversial, guys. I hate to do it to you. Right? But as you know, I used to live in Birmingham and I had a lot of Muslim friends. And one of the things I'm sort of a little bit ashamed about was when radical Islam and ISIS was rising and there was a lot of active jihadist conflict, you would see pictures of them in the media of them doing this, one finger. And I started, because, I've been susceptible to this stuff too. Obviously, because I'm human. It is all of this, the media, the social media, the constant bombardment of information into your brain. It is designed to wear you down and make you think a certain way. And it is very hard to mentally resist it. So I was picking up the newspapers. Again, I wasn't this sort of anti-mainstream media as I am now. And they would tell me that this was the ISIS salute. And it means ISIS is number one. And then I started seeing pictures of other Muslims not associated with ISIS doing this. And I was saying, that's a dog whistle. What that Muslim's doing there, he's secretly showing solidarity with ISIS. And I was an idiot. And I finally spoke to one of my Muslim friends about it to educate myself instead of just believing the lies. And this is called the I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, the Tawheed. And it means that every Muslim has an indivisible oneness with God that cannot be broken. That God is the highest. There is only one God and you are connected to him. And it's been used peacefully by Muslims for centuries. And that's what it means. And it's a way that Muslims across the world can show, yep, I get it. And jihadists are using it. Well, you don't let the jihadists have it. Fuck the jihadists, right? I mean, fuck the terrorists. And I was ashamed. Ashamed that I believed it. Ashamed I was getting irate. Believing he's saying something. It made me reevaluate. I ask people then, how do you feel about Islamic jihadists using the raised index finger that is prior to them using it always represented the Tawheed, oneness with God, and used by all Muslims across the world for centuries? Should it be outlawed? His answer to that was, forgot to mention, I'm not disagreeing with you, but you said the sign hasn't been used in a racist way. Where did I say that? And I didn't. That tweet doesn't say that. It says that it's been spread. Disinformation was spread, making the OK symbol. Somebody points that out. Then he just doesn't reply. because you can't answer this question, and it's uncomfortable. And I asked multiple people this question. Do we outlaw this because jihadists have co-opted it? What? Like, could we oppress Muslims more, please? Don't we know that the biggest victim of extreme radical Islamists are peaceful Muslims? I know. I used to work for a part of Birmingham government helping them relocate. What's that? You fled Iran. Here, have a European grant, start your own business, start a new life away from that bullshit. And yeah, there were plenty of people I interacted with who didn't like me. I got called the kufr many times. I had many times that they didn't want to talk to me. They were inherently distrusting. I get it. There was some tense shit going on. You know, whatever. Take that on the chin. Anyway, then people start showing notorious white supremacist Barack Obama doing the exact same thing Donald Trump would do to punctuate his speeches. And nobody can answer the question, what shall we do with the Tawheed? Do we let extremist groups take things away from us, or do we say to them, no, that you can commit atrocities, but we will retain our identity, our values, and fuck you? And yes, it's just the circle game. It's not worth fighting for in any real sense, but it's the fucking goddamn principle, isn't it? Do you remember principles? Do you remember them? Then there was this one.
Journalism.
This is mental. Okay, let's scroll all the way up to the top. This is a guy called Varothgar. He claims to be a former writer for PBS. I don't think he's currently there, PBS being a TV network. I would have thought a writer for PBS would have a slightly bigger following, only 40 followers. Seemed like a troll, who knows? But also is a games journalist for a website called Game Skinny. And here's the question that everybody asks. Do I get tired of dealing with these idiots? If I allowed myself to get tired of dealing with these idiots, if I allowed myself to be worn down by these idiots, you know, somebody... Look, I'm not always right. I've made mistakes. I've admitted to them. I've copped to them. I've said it multiple times. I ain't proud of working at Breitbart for 6 months, but I ain't ashamed neither. And I won't let people beat me over the head with it with a cudgel. I have, as you can see from that article I just read you, I have years and years and years, a decades-long history of writing incredibly left-leaning, liberal stuff. Breitbart sought me out while I was at the Daily Dot because they wanted to hire liberal writers. Alan Beccario, that guy. If I could go back in time, would I take that job? I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what the right answer to that is anymore. It's all I hear. How I'm secretly a right-wing, a Republican, a conservative. And then I just think to myself, and it's pathetic in a way because I'm not fit to speak their name, but you think about all the great thinkers that you admired and you see how they get wrecked today, you know? I don't think Sam Harris is a great mind. I think he's got a little bit hysterical on Trump. But what I will not accept is that, you know, he's a racist, alt-right, or any of the other labels they get to him. I see what's happened with Jordan Peterson. 20 years ago, Jordan Peterson wouldn't have made anyone bat an eyelid. He probably wouldn't even have been noticed, let alone controversial. If Christopher Hitchens was alive today, and we've seen all the revisionist history when it comes to him, he would be labeled alt-right, Nazi, racist. Again, pick the labels. And it's we have lost an ability. We've lost a part of the intellectual spectrum these past few years in a bid to shut down the inexcusable. But everything, all data, points that we were heading in the right direction, that apart from a few aberrations, We were going in the right direction. Things were getting better. Things were getting more egalitarian. People had more freedom. Racism was being stamped out. Misogyny was being stamped out. Myths were being busted.
You're not even a real
You know,
journalism.
but I don't know. Not anymore. Like I say, there's no money in the egalitarian society. Thanks for gifting a sub. Sorry, Big B 1058. I missed that. I like how you gifted 5. It was at 2, and it went up to 5. Fuck this thing, Streamlabs.
You're not even a real journalism. That's right.
Anyway, so this journalist. So does it tire me out? No, I cannot allow it to.
You're not even
In the same way that even when...
That's right.
Oh, no, I can't compare myself to it. It's pathetic. Forget that. But you know, look, I'll compare it to someone who you might not think I see a lot of simpatico with. Destiny, right? Like me and Steven haven't talked for years. I used to not say his name on the stream in the hopes he would just ignore me and stop some of his more extremist fans from like harassing me and trying to swap me. And obviously Steven has publicly said that he thinks I hate minorities and women. He wrote that in a Reddit post, and he's called me a white nationalist, and he knows I'm not, and because he worked with me for many years, and he's done it to goad me because we had a falling out over that stupid fucking JonTron debate, and he fell out with many people over it, and including Total Biscuit, while John was really struggling with cancer, and you know, called him a centrist and implied he might be a racist himself on his old Twitter account. I mean, come on, man. But here's what I respect: that since he adopted this mantle, relentlessly debating these people, still doing it. Had Nick Fuentes on after that Trainwrecks debate, destroyed him. Not difficult, but did destroy him. And consistently, even though he's been banned on Twitch, he's had mass reporting, mass flagging, harassment, he's been doxxed. There's a Kiwi farm story about him that reveals personal details. He's had people write to the FBI saying he's a pedophile and his child's in danger. You know, I knew Stephen when he told me he was having a kid. So I admire that resistance, persistence. I admire sticking yourself out there time and time again for what you believe. Obviously. It's the only way to live. No fucking surrender, no compromise. Not on that. Compromise a discussion, compromise a debate on something that doesn't really matter. But when it comes to living your life and being who you are and standing up for what you believe in, you cannot give an inch on that. It's who you are, right? So no, I will not let these people I will not let these people get to me. No, fuck no. And I will not stop arguing with them. And people go, oh, you should just take the high ground and ignore them. No, because it leads to moments where you present to them what William Burroughs used to call the naked lunch moment. The naked lunch moment, he said, is where we truly see what is on the end of every fork. Isn't that a brilliant phrase? Because William Burroughs was a genius. You present to them the naked lunch moment. Fuck you, doctors. What do you know? Shout out to Bacardi Gold. And it's where their argument collapses in on themselves. And it happened to this guy, Hrothgar. He still hasn't answered the question. Still refuses to. Still can't do it. He replied to my original tweet. White supremacists have a long... And look at the O's uses. Long, as if it's in... As if it's, inarguable that this history is long, centuries long. As long as there's been racism, we've been co-opting symbols. White supremacists have a long history of co-opting common symbols and gestures to transmit the meaning while hiding behind it's just a joke. He links me to Wikipedia, the OK gesture, where they have newly added a segment, Kel Surprise, saying it might possibly be a white supremacist symbol, while also talking as well about all the other stuff that I've shown you. And I say they don't, though, because they don't. Give me some examples. The fucking Christ... Right. Long history, Christchurch. Long history, Christchurch. Let's leave Christchurch out for just a minute. Give me something else. Give me something else. So he does. Long history, air quotes. A very long history. And then asks me, whose side are you on? Because by challenging his version that Nazis and white supremacists and racists have always co-opted symbols. Let's have a look at these examples. Actually, I'm not going to show you on the tweet. It might take a while. I'll just read you what his examples were. And you'll understand how he certainly... I don't know if there's something I don't know about, but the idea that this is a long history isn't demonstrated by what he tweeted to me. So, let me just get them because these are all Wikipedia links. All right. So his first one is the ADL hate symbol database, which are mostly Aryan Brotherhood tattoos. Tell you what, let's do it, shall we? I'll show you what he linked me to. You tell me if this is reasonable, okay? And see if you can see any flaws in his logic. The ADL hate symbol database, and like I say, these are the Aryan kind of tattoos you will see. Now, Aryans and racists, as you know, aren't the brightest. So here's what they've co-opted. 111, meaning the first and 11th letter of the alphabet, A and K. So the number 1 has been co-opted. 100%, shorthand for 100% white. This would make the phrase, I hope you're going to give it 100%, immensely problematic if we ban everything that is co-opted. What does co-opted even mean in this context? Right? They've co-opted 12. They've co-opted 13. They've co-opted 14. They've co-opted 23. They've co-opted 88. They've co-opted 18. They've co-opted 21 to 12. They've co-opted 211. They've co-opted 23. They've co-opted 23 and 16. They've co-opted every fucking number we have. Is it off the table? Is maths done? 33, 38, 43, 511, 737, 83, 88, 9. That's what he linked me. And by the way, long history, go look up that history because the Aryan Brotherhood isn't even anywhere near as old as the KKK. These are all new, relatively new. We're talking a few decades, maybe 50 years old gangs. And then look. Oh, look, it's our old friend the swastika. They've co-opted the Black Power Fist. Is that out now? I saw Eugene Goo do that. He's doing it here. There he is. Little did he know he was doing an Aryan Brotherhood salute. Someone stop him. It's a dog whistle. This is the insanity. That Blizzard can market a skin as someone doing that and then ban somebody for doing it in a crowd. That Eugene Goo could do this to show solidarity with the black movement, not realizing there's already an Aryan Brotherhood fist. And if you said to him, do you know you're actually doing the Aryan Brotherhood power fist there? Well, I'm doing the Black Panther one. I'm doing the Solidarity with Black Lives Matter one. I mean, you know, that's what my symbol means. Symbols Their meaning can change, and as we now know, anything co-opted by the worst humanity has to offer, we have to not do it. No one else can do it, lest we are treated with guilt by association. Don't worry, though. This journalist has got better examples. I mean, he's not just linked me to the ADL database, all of which are relatively modern events. Proven by the fact that there's fucking photographs of them, and the fact that the entire fucking, every number available to you is in some way racist. What was the other one he did? All right, I better check some of these links in case I get a fucking mad, pro-Nazi thing flash up. Let me just double check. Don't get me. Right. The runic insignia, right? Now, my German's a little rusty, guys. The runic insignia of the Schutzstaffel, right? And what they did is, it says here, these are known in German as the SS Runen, were used from the 1920s to 1945 on Schutzstaffel flags. That's going to get clipped. Flags. Uniforms and other items as symbols of various aspects of Nazi ideology and Germanic mysticism. They also represent virtue seen as desirable in SS members and were based on folk mysticism. Well, who the fuck are they co-opting them from? I just told you Hitler was mental. That's why he co-opted the swastika. All of these are off. Right. Fair enough. No one's using the zigzaggy S anymore. Does look like a lightning bolt, though, doesn't it? Be careful. Backwards N is out. Stars are out. Y's are out. Upside downy Y's are out. Upward arrows are out. This is Nordic, deliberately, because that's what they were into. People are saying Harry Potter. Where? I don't know anything about Harry Potter except the shit. So, which bit? The upward arrow? Is Harry Potter a Nazi now? The lightning bolt? Yeah, probably. Co-opted symbols. I mean, his long history. They were used before the Nazis existed and used by the Nazis until, 45 on flags in the National Socialist Army. Well, that's a long history. It's a long history. It's weird how they always go back to Hitler's Germany, isn't it? As the example of a long history. Tiny little bit of history. One of the darkest chapters, admittedly. Actual white supremacists in a military operation, killing millions of people. This is the example. Anyone else? Anyone else for anything else? Okay, no, I didn't think so. Right, okay, no problem. He links me to another ADL page. What galaxy brain symbol has he come up with this time? The swastika. Yawn. The Nazis again. Okay. All right. And what's the other example you've got in this long history? It's not even a symbol. It's a word. Gleichschaltung. Gleichschaltung was in Nazi terminology the process of Nazification by which Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party successfully established a system of totalitarian control and coordination over all aspects of German society, from the economy and trade associations to the media, culture, and education. But it didn't used to mean that. But that's a word. So, now words are fair game. But that's his examples. 3 are from Hitler's Germany in this long history. 3 are from Hitler's Germany, and 1 is a bunch of gang tattoos. Apparently all comparable to the universal, goes as far back as 5th BC. Because remember, history is important. So a long history, whatever has the longest history should win, according to this guy. Well, evidently. If Buddha's doing it, guys, it wins. It's fine. It wins. It's okay. Fucking hell. Mahatma Gandhi was an actual racist, by the way. So anyway, I say to him, I actually did reply saying that that list doesn't show that it has a long history. It shows the opposite, actually. But the tweet's not in this chain. It's irrelevant. You know my views on it. And then I said, oh, must love it. How immediately, because I don't agree with you, I must be on the Nazi side of the argument. True to type, go fuck yourself. And then he responds, this is it. Just buy the numbers. Every time. Holy shit, you're the dude, loader decked XD. I knew that shitty rhetoric from somewhere. So, let's take, do you know what? I would love the story now, I guess, to be loader beat me up at an event. But you see the interesting paradox here. If loader beats me up, it's hilarious because it's my shitty rhetoric that must have led to it. If I had beat Loader up, well, how dare you? It's inappropriate to throw hands at anyone. How dare you be violent? You're just a thug. Weird that. It's weird how these people, their values, they don't have values. They don't have principles. It's just be right. This is my group, and we'll just bend our rules and use our judgment as according to whatever suits. So I asked him, when did anyone deck me, you weird cunt? And he says, lol, I'm not Google. You're a professional, though, Sue. And I said, yeah, but what you're doing, much like repeating this nonsensical idea that the circle game is a white supremacist symbol, is repeating utter nonsense that has no basis in fact. Feel free to show me any evidence of me being decked by anyone at any event at any time. I am expanding the loader metric here. And he went, also, and this is a let me Google it for you, circle game, which brings up all of the blogs saying the circle game is racist now by nobodies. And he said, Richard, swastikas mean peace, Lewis, XD, which I've never said. Not in this chain, at least. On this stream, sure. Congratulations on demonstrating that, yes, a lot of seriously mentally ill people like yourself, it seems, have blogged about imaginary Nazis being everywhere off the back of a 4chan hoax. Even the ADL is laughing at you. Then he goes, because he can't accept it, it's okay, you're white, it doesn't impact you in any way. And I said, yes, the Nazis and neo-Nazis have certainly never killed any white people. It's almost like, Charlottesville didn't happen to these people when it suits them. Because Heather Heyer was white. It's almost as if evil, foul people don't really give a fuck. Like Anders Breivik shooting a bunch of Norwegian national kids because he's pissed off about immigration. They're scum. There's no rhyme or reason to what they do. They just kill for attention. They get their little 15 minutes. So I said to him, yeah, the Nazis and the Nazis certainly never killed any white people. How have you got through life being this educationally subnormal? And he said, yikes, XD, the forums were right. I said, is it your historical stance that Nazis and neo-Nazis have never targeted white people and that me as a bisexual person wouldn't be targeted by Nazis as being a deviant? Which, by the way, absolutely true. I am certainly a deviant in the eyes of neo-Nazis with my laissez-faire attitude to sex. I would also be considered, I imagine, by having a long history of being a lib. I imagine that I would probably be gulagged and killed immediately on that basis should a fascist government ever rise up. So then he replies with, I asked him, are you telling me my skin would give me a pass? And then he goes, well, clearly not. But it's not my job to educate you, it's yours. Well, educate me about what? You're agreeing my skin wouldn't give me a pass. You said being white, it wouldn't matter to you. To every gay person, the rise of a fascist government would be vitally important. Go look at what's been happening in Chechnya. Where they're like, we don't have any gay people here. Well, what's that camp over there full of gay people where you're torturing them? Nothing to see here, folks. Western shut out. Let's talk about Trump some more. Let's talk about Trump some more, you know? So I said, I'll try it. Why? They always resort to fucking cartoon GIFs. You know, they have these files of them on their desk. Like, in the absence of an argument, let's drop a cartoon. It's pathetic. He said, I'll try and make it easier for you. Choose one. Either I am white and my sexuality does not matter because Nazis revere whiteness over everything else, which we know isn't true, or my skin color is irrelevant due to my sexuality and I clearly wouldn't want Nazis in power and would never support them. Didn't reply. Took him a while, in fact. Somebody else had to chime in. They said, you can say something about... Oh, so wait there. This guy didn't reply because he values his time. And I said, if he valued his time, why does he keep spamming me? And then he said, is it really spam when it's the very thing you desire? Oh, I desire. Come, idiots! Do we have a bell? Ding dong, yes, bring me your morons. Bring me your utter drooling cretins. Bring me the subnormal education people so I can talk to them and try and explain what it is to hold a consistent logical thought in your head that you cannot be against this if you're for that and vice versa. They're non-compatible ideas. Bring them and I will smash my fucking head off a wall all day. Oh, I love it. Yes, it's what I desire. It's all I have. You answered his every question, motivated him to go on, and when he didn't, you pronounced yourself the victor. Never did that. In the very bizarre way of posting the whole thread to my timeline. I said this is an example of what happens when people stop thinking critically and just repeat talking points. Never said I was a victor. I just point out he cannot answer the very clear question that, as someone who would be killed should a genuine fascist threat seize power, why on earth would I ever support them? You can't either, which is why you claimed I said something I didn't. And he goes, you can say something without uttering the exact words. The classic. The classic. The classic stance. What you meant was. What you meant was. I know what you meant, but I didn't say that. Yeah, but I know what you meant. We win. I know what you meant. I'm a mind reader. Beep, 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 beep. Anyway, he comes back in because he said that by posting a tweet and ridiculing him, you declare yourself the victor. I said, I don't see throwaway conversations with idiots as something you win or lose. I certainly lost for having to interact with him, and my prevailing sense is one of absolute pity that he is leading such an empty life. However, he did illustrate perfectly what comes from echo chambers. And he comes back now all of a sudden. Now that the questions aren't there to be answered and we're all arguing and bickering, he's back. This is his level. This is what he can do. I can't answer your question logically. I can't explain why you would be a self-detrimental Nazi supporter. I can't provide any evidence of anything you've said that supports that you would be for a fascist or totalitarian government. But now that we're having a slap fight, I'm back, everyone. And he goes, professional internet homies about to win an internet fight. Please can you answer the question as to why me, being a white member of the LGBT community, would spare me from the Nazis, despite their stance on deviants such as me being very clear? You can do it. You're smart. I think your boy Milo Yiannopoulos... Oh, it's Breitbart. We've done the three. We've done it all. You're an esports nobody. You were an esports nobody. You and Loda had a fight. You used to work at Breitbart. We've done the trilogy. We've done the holy Illuminati trilogy of trying to discredit Richard Lewis. Congrats. The three things you got on me, by the way. What does that mean exactly? Just explain yourself instead of typing up a wall of embarrassing dribble that makes you mentally disturbed. You can do it. Let's be real. There's fuck all else going on in your life. If there was, none of this would matter to you. I probably should have put a comma in there. Well, there's a fully fledged esports personality or something dragging me on Twitter, so I've got that going for me. And I said, well, you don't have a logically consistent position, nor can explain why you keep trying to imply I'm a Nazi because I haven't fallen for an internet hoax. And he goes, yo, what's my position? So I repeat it once more. I say that because I'm white, I would never truly be against Nazis, despite belonging to a group of people explicitly persecuted by them. How does that make sense exactly? You refuse to answer. He responds with a cartoon. And I said, the only person in the hole is the person having a resort to posting cartoons because you can't answer a question without your entire argument falling apart. One assumes I'm having an argument. Oh, he's done me. Get that meme of the guy with the brain and he sat on it while playing chess with another part of the brain. He's done me. He's made multiple arguments and assertions over the course of this. I said you made arguments in your tweets. First, that the OK symbol is a white power symbol now because of the rise of National Socialism in Germany prior to World War II and gang tattoos. And you also said that because I'm white, I'd never truly care about fascism despite being in a targeted group. And it just ends there. And you know what he comes back with? You're alt-right! Lol, you're alt-right. Here's a Huffington Post blog about how the far-right and Trump are connected. And you're alt-right. Got him. Got him. That's it. This is what this discussion leads to. It's ridiculous. Let me show you some other things that I think are interesting and worth considering, and then I'll just wrap up this topic, pretend it never happened. We'll all go back to fucking sleep, America, and we'll just live another day in fucking argumentative hell, lies everywhere. I had another discussion. Again, I had another discussion. And let me find the right guy. Was it this guy? Nope. This guy? Nope. Not that guy. Not that guy. This guy? Not this guy. There were a lot of guys. There were a lot of guys messaging me today with nonsense. Not that guy. I feel like it should be that guy. It's still not that guy. Is it this guy? Nope. I'll tell you what I will. I'll show you this one. This guy got upset. But I think I illustrated my point well. Maybe I didn't. Maybe this is too stupid. Maybe this is like what the cool kids call meaningless rhetoric. It was this guy. And I liked it. He called me sir. He said, sir, you realize that at this point that actually is a white supremacist. It just happened. It just happened overnight. It just happened overnight because they said so. Happened overnight because they said so. Can happen to anything else because they say so. Don't stand up to it. Don't stand up to that. Whatever they say, it is. Just go along with that as a system. So you realize that at this point that actually it is a white supremacist symbol, right? It doesn't matter what it began as. What matters is what it is now. And what it is now is not okay. Because, I mean, that's how mass shooting, not okay. Somebody using the term nitty-gritty, which has ties to the slave trade, not okay. I mean, these people, do they get given a handbook of how to speak wokalese? They all sound the same. I said I can't imagine being so idiotic as to think this way. I was going to just dismiss him because it's such a nonsensical standpoint. He said, and I can't imagine being so insecure that you insult someone for expressing a view you don't agree with. I mean, he should follow my Twitter feed, really. It's fucking lit, innit? I'm always insulting people. And I block everyone who disagrees with me.
That's right.
Calling somebody insecure on Twitter now makes you a racist and a Nazi, said Stoney. He's a regular. He's in the chat sometime. See the problem yet? So I replied. I thought, okay, we'll play this game. I said, insecure is a dog whistle used by homophobic people. I can't believe he would say something like that out in the open. And then he said, I'm queer, so good luck calling me homophobic, dude. And I said, I got that covered. You've got internalized homophobia. It's sad to see. Please stop using dog whistles against fellow members of the LGBT community. And he goes, that's not how it works at all. But sure, whatever makes you feel better. And I said, I've seen too many genuine homophobes use the dog whistle now for it not to be how it works. Please stop harassing me with your hate. He said, I'm not even convinced you know what the word dog whistle means, sir. But the idea that this show somehow makes you look right and not stupid is fairly ridiculous. No one gets hurt by not using the symbol, just like no one gets hurt by not using a swastika. And I said, no one gets hurt by you not continuing to perpetuate the homophobic dog whistle that is calling someone insecure. It derives from them being insecure about their heterosexuality. Please stop this. It's triggering me. And he goes, we aren't pawns. Homophobia isn't the punchline in some joke of your efforts to make me look bad, sir. People get hurt because of it, just like people get hurt because of white supremacy. My community being hurt doesn't get to be your joke. And I said, it's my community too. Please stop using the word insecure. It has been used for years to run down men who aren't heterosexual or heteronormative. I can't believe you're being this openly hateful. And away they go. And away they go. Because you can't win with, you know, you literally, your entire premise is, it was fine before, but it's wrong now. Why is it wrong now? Because it's been in the news and that. I mean, guys, sir. Let me find the other one. It was a good one. I felt like I had a conversation and maybe reached this guy a little bit. I must find it. Please. Oh, somebody went private after the discussion. That's a shame. Never seen that before. Never seen that. Sir, I must go private, sir.
You're not even a real journalism. That's right.
Right, here we go. Nimrod. Now, Nimrod seems okay. But this is what you got to remember. Right? If, again, we must reject all things that have been co-opted, let's follow this through to its logical position. All right? Let's be logically consistent. Let's apply it universally. So he said, consider that. And like I say, I like this guy. He's fine. We disagree. This is the type of disagreement I wish I had. He's not lumped in with the other idiots. He's wrong. He's objectively and logically wrong. But I think he kind of got there in the end and realized that it was more a position based on like, oh, I just feel this way and, you know, whatever. And, you know, the Christchurch shooting was bad and I get it. Consider that even as a meme, loads of alt-right figures keep using the symbol to signal to show they're in on it. Because of that, posing with the OK hand in photos has taken on a double meaning. And I said you got it backwards because people started using it. It emulates Trump's hand gestures while speaking to show support for Trump. The idea for the hoax was implemented by 4chan to demonstrate anything Trump-related will be branded white supremacist. That's the history. And he said it's all fun and jokes until actual white supremacists join in on it. Right? Okay. Fair. So I said, right, when are we going to reach a similar level of hysteria over veganism? Now, here's what you might not know. There was an article in Vice, this one here. Why so many white supremacists are into veganism? And I'll tell you why. Because Hitler was a vegan, reputedly. So a lot of hardcore Nazis want to be like their number one idol, so they adopt veganism too. And they, in fact, there's some groups, as this article goes on to say, check it out yourself, there's some groups that insist you must adopt a vegan lifestyle. That to eat meat and dairy is some deviant lifestyle, probably promoted by one of the many groups they say are trying to, you know, destroy Western civilization, you know, the usual nonsense. So I said, now understand this, right? We have two things here. One is a meaningless hand gesture done by kids to trick other kids into looking at their hand. The other is an actual philosophy, ethos, and lifestyle choice that Nazi groups are insisting you adopt. Surely the latter is worse. Surely the latter must be worse. So, if white supremacists adopt veganism, is it not time that we stop promoting veganism? Just in case inadvertently we're turning people to white supremacy. I'll support that. Let's do it then. Okay, let's do it. I will create a video and let's do it. Let's push back against veganism because Hitler was vegan. White supremacists are promoting veganism. Let's get rid of veganism. Let's do it, right? I mean, that's more important than the hand gesture. It's a lifestyle choice. It's an indoctrination. It's a philosophy. It's an ethos. So I pointed this out, and he said, with the okay hand, you can fairly safely assume someone is in on the meme. I don't think this is the case with veganism. I don't think the two are comparable, and it would be tough even for trolls to get it on the same level. And I said, you're right, they're not the same. Actual Nazis do promote a vegan diet. No actual Nazis are meeting up, flashing the OK symbol at each other at secret meetings. But of course, veganism is also promoted by liberals. So head in the sand on that one, I guess. And he said, head in the sand, not me. Veganism may have taken root under Nazis. Interesting. So he admits he didn't know that. And that's why I like this guy. Because at least he said that is interesting, right? And he said, but it doesn't have associations with alt-right or white supremacy inherently. What more inherent association could it have that Hitler did it and promoted it and now Nazis are promoting it? Certainly more inherent than the fucking circle game. And I said that. The circle game, played by children for decades, and the universal symbol for approval, the OK gesture, also over a century old, I didn't even know how far back it went at that point, have no inherent association with the alt-right or white supremacy. So why can you not maintain a consistent position? And he said, I've been consistent. He objectively hasn't. And again, he says, sir, I am, it's the pipe. It's like I'm a teacher. I'm sorry, Nimrod, you haven't been consistent here. You haven't been consistent at all. And it's this lack of consistency that, you're going nowhere in life, lad. Please, sir, I've been consistent, sir. Please, sir. Well, no. There'll be no please, sir, to help you when you're out there in the workforce, son. Right, anyway. Enough of the pipe prop. He said, I've been consistent, sir. I've not claimed inherent meaning, merely associated you to usage recently. It cannot right now be disassociated whether you mean to invoke the association or not. And I said, you're not being consistent. I just demonstrated how veganism is an actual tenet of extreme branches of National Socialism. You say that to stop promoting it would be absurd just because of that. And again, they go away. They just leave. They just, you know what? Yeah, fucking hell, I've lost this. Fuck me, he won again. Now, what's also hilarious, by the way, is, let's say, okay, we need to ban veganism, right? We must ban veganism. Actually, Richard was right. Let's ban veganism, right? Okay, good. I've got you there. Let's do it. I think the world would be a better place if we were all vegan. I haven't got the wherewithal, the willpower, whatever you want to call it, to do it myself, but I got vegan friends and I don't judge them and I don't make jokes at their expense. It's better environmentally, seems to have a lot of health benefits. So once you get the dietary aspects of it down, I have nothing against the vegan lifestyle, but let's be real, the Nazis are vegan, so we just got to ban veganism. Let's just get rid of it. I actually think we need to get rid of it now, and that's it. So let's do that tomorrow. Let's say we've all had sleep, we wake up, veganism's gone. Slight problem. Turns out neo-Nazis just co-opt everything, don't they? Even contradictory co-option. Here's the New York Times. Why white supremacists are chugging milk. But we just banned veganism. We just banned veganism to get rid of the Nazis and own the Nazis. But now we got milk. So now what do we do? And why are white supremacists chugging milk? Well, it turns out, because it's the exact opposite of all the arguments the vegan Nazis made. So now we're in a position where it's like, fucking hell, we gotta ban milk and promote veganism, but we just banned veganism. The Nazis, man, it's like they could just co-opt any old shit. Now you get it. Welcome to my world. Why are we fucking letting these people, these scumbags, dictate anything? They're not important. They don't matter. They'll never have power. Virtually everyone on the planet finds their viewpoints reprehensible, finds their lifestyle risible, laughable. Every time I look at a picture of a white fucking supremacist, I chuckle to myself. That's such fucking cardboard cutout cunts, poster boys for genetic fucking disorders and inferiorities. It's mad. Look, let me find you an example. So I saw a photo the other day of a fucking white supremacist rally when I was researching. It was unreal. Let me see. I just didn't get the right keywords. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Well, I could believe it, but even then. Oh, come on, where? Oh, here we go. This was it. Like, straight up, man. I don't want to mock the differently abled, and I don't want to mock people who are different. But you know what? Since this your whole modus operandi is to be a fucking white supremacist, I'm going to say you're fair fucking game. Look at the state of this. How do you go to a rally promoting white supremacy when just before you put on your best Confederate flag hat and your muscle vest, you had to look at that in the mirror? Look at the state on it. Look at their open jaws and breasts and just, oh God. This is the master race? Holy shit! Yeah, there you go. You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looked like. Jesus Christ! I mean, I don't want to be too judgmental here. Can anyone see a tooth? Can anybody see a tooth? Just one. Just give me one. Like, please. Somebody. Top left. And it's like, these are the guys. These are the guys you are saying are secretly controlling America. Barely a tooth, barely a brain cell between them. While studies show a report, while studies and reports show a rise in right-wing hate crimes and right-wing terrorist attacks, that also has correlated with an increase in reported incidents and a decrease in unreported incidents, according to FBI statistics. Okay? But it's also increased with a wave of fake hate crimes, which I'm saving for another episode of The Richard Lewis Show. But let me just show you the data, right? People will tell you we exist right now in the most racist time in America. And it's nonsense. And the statistical data doesn't even back that up. Let me just show you the FBI statistics for this. Where did I put it? I got a huge document now of all this stuff. I think this was it. Yeah, here we go. Right. Let's have a look, okay? And let me just give you some... I'll just bring this up, and I'll just give you the cliff notes, because you're probably getting bored of this topic now, and I am going to wrap it up. Right. Hate crime laws in the United States. This is the important part. Victims per year by bias motivation. And the top one, the most common type of hate crime, is on the basis of race. And look at that in 1995. And this is when it had higher unreported incidents, 6,438. Race hate crimes. Now, what's interesting is people are telling you there's been a rise in hate crime, and there's been a rise in right-wing hate crime. And it's true. There has been a steady increase year upon year since 2014, which last time I checked was before the MAGA movement and before the existence of Trump. That's right. But it
statistics are racist.
Statistics are racist. You actually said "but" at the same time as me. That was pretty cool. It freaked me out a little bit. I thought I'd gone into the machine. Right. The number of race-related hate crimes in the 2017 data, which was recently provided by PolitiFact, it is higher than 2014. It is higher than 2013. Right? There has been an increase. But it is nowhere near between 95 and 2001. And while we're at a decade high for hate crimes, along with the correlating data that more people are reporting hate crimes and more people are faking hate crimes, which, I almost feel like I don't want to demean people reporting hate crimes because it is important. But I do want to just show you something and just factor that in for consideration. That at the time, we're not in an all-time high. We're nowhere near an all-time high for reported hate crimes. It's backed up by FBI statistical data. It's a decade high. It's not nowhere near an all-time high. A professor who wrote a book after who wrote a book about fake hate crimes, and he wrote this op-ed after Jussie Smollett. A guy called Wilfred Riley. Go check out the book. I've actually ordered a copy of it. It is called is it in here? Yeah, he's an associate professor at Kentucky State, and he wrote Hate Crime Hoaxes. The hate crime hoax, and he talked about why. So he broke down the data that's been recently going around about how many fake hate crimes, because nobody's doing a study on that because it's a relatively recent phenomenon in the proliferation we've seen. And what he was able to do is he was able to find 409 fake hate crimes. These were fake hate crimes as deemed by the police after investigation, so inarguably fake. And 409 out of the 6,000 race-related, that is not an insignificant percentage, guys. That isn't an insignificant percentage. So there's a lot of data, honestly, if you start digging into it, that suggests it's not as bad as people keep telling you. It's not that bad. There aren't Nazis everywhere. There was an article about how the KKK is nearly dead, finally. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but let me just show you as well. There was a guy went and investigated the KKK and said that it's been in terminal decline. It is now down to just 51 chapters across America, and that means that it has maybe hundreds. Maybe like 200, 300. If each chapter has 6 to a dozen, they estimate. It's down to 51. It's at its lowest point in history. It's dead. It's over. Now, I'm not saying there aren't other racist groups out there, but I keep hearing at this rally, no Trump, no KKK, David Duke endorses politics. The KKK's over. Why are you even talking about them? It's a bunch of fucking hillbillies jerking each other off with pillow fucking cases over their head. It's done. Stop fucking giving these people power and influence over your lives. They're nobodies. They're nothing. They lost.